Mike, either Ro, El Normo, or Harry. El Normo.
So, Jews have long returned home to Israel and have done so for more than 2,000 years. Like other people, like black folks and Chinese folks, sometimes we live outside of our homeland. That's called the diaspora. In Hebrew, it is Golet, or the Galut. Zionism begins with Abraham and God. God saying, go up, go out, go to this land that I have given. And eventually, this little tribe of Jews ends up in Israel, about 2,000 years before the Christian Messiah appears, or the leader of Christianity, or the founding figure, many call Jesus. Zionism is intrinsic to the identity of the Jew, in as much as it represents a return to Jerusalem, a return home. We pray facing Jerusalem, and we pray for the return to Jerusalem at minimum 3 times a day. And we've done this for thousands of years. Now, Herzl happened to be a modern European. So he had the idea of returning in modern times to our home and forming a European-style modern nation-state, a model which was repeated all over the world. Every country that you see in South America, in Asia, even in the Levant, in the Arabian Peninsula, they're all modern nation-states like Israel. But Herzl wasn't particularly religious, although he did believe in God and he was a Jew. At the time he's responding to the Dreyfus affair, which was only the most recent example of anti-Semitism, his big contribution wasn't that he thought, well, can we go to Uganda or Argentina? I don't know. His big contribution was understanding the possibility and the necessity of forming a modern nation state, which became Israel. Are any questions, Bima?
So my question is, when you read, so first of all, what do you think of Herzl as an authority connected to Zionism? Do you subscribe to him? Do you not subscribe to him? Do you think most Jews subscribe to him? Do you think most Zionists subscribe?
Tried to unmute. There are 17 million Jews. He's one voice of 17 million.
So would you say he's an authoritative figure, though, when it comes to the topic of Zionism?
One small contribution to make, which I thought I wrote down for you, the idea of making it like a European-style nation, which was repeated eventually on every continent of the world. See, we were coming out of the age of empires. So there was the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It got broken up. There was the Ottoman Empire. It got broken up. There was the British Empire, broken up. French Empire, Belgian Empire, broken up. What replaced it? Homeland for the indigenous people. Who was indigenous to Israel? Among many others, Jews. Also, Samaritans, Assyrians, Yazidis, Muslims. Israel's founding document, unlike Hamas's, which says they want to kill every Jew on the planet, they've never repudiated that. Israel's founding document, its Declaration of Independence, you should read it, guarantees equal rights for all minorities, unlike any state in the region. It's also parliamentary democracy, European style, unlike any state in the region. So he made an important contribution. He's one voice among.
They call him Moses.
Right, exactly. I was just gonna say that. Like, are we the
Moses?
Right. Would you agree that? Go ahead.
Well, wait. Well, you asked me twice. I gave you the answer. Who calls him Moses? Hello?
All right, so I'll go pull up articles where they talk
Wait,
about.
you said they call him Moses. No, we don't call him Moses.
No, I said they. I said they.
Who's they? Who?
Basically, they consider him relative. I'll pull it up for you. They
Well,
consider
why don't you just answer? You made a statement. Who are you talking about?
Yeah, Herzl is considered one of the fathers.
Articles written
One of the fathers.
If I find Jewish publications equating him to
I only asked you a question. If you don't know, say I don't know, and don't say
It's not important.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. No, off the top of my head, I don't know.
So why did you say it?
It's not important. Yeah, Herzl is one of the fathers of Zionism. Can we move on?
He made an important contribution. It was in response to the Dreyfus affair. There are many Zionists and many kinds of Zionism, but we all have one thing in common. We understand the importance of returning home, and that home in Israel, being in our indigenous homeland, is central to our identity as human beings, as a family, as a tribe, as a nation, as a people.
I found those quotes if you want them.
Yeah, but what about what I just said?
Sorry, I was looking
that?
at what you asked me to find.
Yeah. Oh, so you get lost? You can't.
Yes, my retarded ass has a hard time listening to someone speak and find a source.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You wanted me to find people calling him Moses.
Wait a minute. Why is it that I'm a bad guy when I call you a retard, but when you call yourself a retard, it's okay? I don't like this double standard. I don't like this double standard.
You literally know the answer to that question.
Yes, I do. It's you're literally retarded. That's
also, if you have a nickname for your friend, I can call him that nickname. Or like if you call your girlfriend a silly insult, but it's an inside joke, I can just hop in on that inside joke, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not explaining how society works to fucking grown men. To the point, right? To the point. You asked who called him Moses.
Yeah, you said they.
Yeah, the reason I said they is because it was like a rhetorical thing. You have to understand, this man, you're downplaying.
So what's the answer to the question? If you're not listening to what I'm saying, what's the answer?
The mod bully.
Who called? Oh, I'm gonna make you a sweater that with a big V for victim on it. You're such a victim of honesty.
He really is.
I wanted you.
It's okay, Truth. El Normal will actually have the discussion.
Mute up.
Like Roger.
Mute up. Everyone mute up. Listen. We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna keep it calm. Everyone's just gonna relax. We're gonna keep all of our disabilities in check. We're just gonna make sure that when we're having this conversation, that we're just gonna. There's two rules. Try to make 1, maybe 2 points. Keep your share brief. Then mute up, and then let somebody respond. I don't want where this is going to get out of hand is if people talk over each other. So I want to just go ahead and turn the mic over to Truth, a self-identified retard, and I want to hand the mic to him and allow him to speak. So I will no longer call Truth the retard. I will just refer to him the way that he chooses to identify himself. So.
Yeah, so for the record, self-effacing humor is common. If I call myself a big jackass, that doesn't mean you can start calling me a big jackass. So yeah, just to why he's more than just one Jew amongst millions. He's the founder of the World Zionist Organization.
He started an organization.
Hold on.
He started an organization. Who calls him Moses?
He was the first president.
He started an organization.
You're a lot more important than that.
Hold on, guys, listen. This is going to be the order. Truth is going to speak, and he's going to make 1 or 2 points, and then Norm's going to respond, and then we'll pass the mic around. But go ahead, Truth, speak, and then Norm, let him uninterrupted get it off his chest, and then you will speak uninterrupted. Go.
Thank you. Yeah, so in doing so, he met with the Ottoman Sultan, the Sultan himself. He met with the British government. Originally, they floated Uganda as a temporary solution. He met with the German Kaiser and Russian officials, and he legitimized the Zionist
Who
movement.
called him Moses? Nobody? You want to withdraw that?
Hold on.
No, I'm not holding on. You made a big point if you wanted to answer the question.
There.
So go ahead. Please start with there and then go on. Start there. Who called him Moses? Thank you. Who called him Moses? Nobody? Okay, you withdraw the statement.
Okay,
All right,
so-
now what do you want to talk about?
Wow.
Yeah, you withdrew the statement, right?
Oh, wait. Okay. So there is a publication known as the Mosaic Magazine. It is a Jewish publication, and
Never heard of it.
Cool. So you know about every Jewish magazine, huh? Is that?
No, and you clearly don't know anything about Jewish period.
You
So,
just sound
what's your
you
final
sound
point?
butthurt. You sound like
What's
you
your-
shit in your diaper.
No, you know
Sound
what?
like you're sitting and pissing
You
shit right now.
have
Clean your fucking
an
diaper.
unhealthy obsession with men's
Clean your fucking
men's
diaper.
ass.
You're having a piss
No,
fit.
You have an unhealthy obsession
brother.
with men's asses, and you need to work on that. Now make your point.
All I'm
Ass
saying
man.
is,
Your new nickname is Ass Man.
Description
Go ahead, Ass Man.
for 1 week.
Go.
no, but are you familiar with the mitzvah?
Just go. Just make the point.
Bunch of-
You're
bunch of
tiring us out with your nonsense. Go.
Okay, so my main point is just to say this, right? Because this is what I really wanted to say earlier, and I didn't get to finish.
Let's go.
The locals in the region, the Palestinians, were displaced. Someone asked me, "Oh, well, where did we get the term Palestine from, and how long were we called that, etc." I
Spam
can't
away
speak
and line them
Some
up.
left and some stayed. Is that more accurate?
I'm sorry.
Some left and some stayed. Is that more
So
accurate?
then I'm gonna
Some
just
left and
stand
some
up.
stayed. They were displaced.
No, they weren't displaced. Some left and some stayed. As happens in war. No different than the 7 million refugees who left the Syrian war. They started a war in 1948, and some left and some stayed. And they were told to leave. They weren't displaced. Nobody displaced them.
Fired.
That's
That's
more
not-
accurate. Next point.
This is-
It's 100% true. What's your next
I'm not
point?
even. Okay, I'm not
What's your
even.
next point?
So this is important because one of us
Go
is
ahead.
correct. I'm not even.
That's correct.
I can be. Please. I'm willing to say I could be incorrect, although obviously I'm convinced I'm not.
Okay.
I think
You
it's
don't know.
important
You
we
don't
make
know
this.
this.
I think
Because
it's
you haven't
important
read the
we make
history.
this moment definitive because
It's definitive. Some
can
left.
be-
There's 2 million Arabs in Israel. Obviously, they stayed. Correct? So it's
Okay, are there Native Americans
indisputable
in the
fact.
United States of America?
Let
Norm?
me
Say
know.
again.
Are there Native Americans still in the United States of America?
Irrelevant.
Oh, okay. So
I'll
you
laugh
have the
at
comprehension to catch why that's relevant.
No, I
I
have
can
more
explain how it's
comprehension.
relevant
Hang
to the
on.
dumbass
Hang
point
on.
you're
I have
making.
more
Well, hold on, we're doing the talking. No, hold on. We're doing the talking over again.
I'm
We're
gonna
gonna take
advance
turns.
if you
If
take
you
any
guys need
ladies.
me to do it,
I
I
bet
will
your hinge will
literally
suck to
say,
get a
okay,
subscription for 1 week.
Norm, it's your turn to speak. Okay, Norm, you're done speaking. Truth, it's your turn to speak. I don't want to have to do that. Can you guys regulate this?
Yes, I will respond. So there are 2 million Arabs living in Israel, fully integrated to every aspect of society, from shops to the Supreme Court to
Clean
the
it
Knesset.
out.
They have their own party. The Israeli laws do not discriminate in any way at all among different kinds of Israelis. Some Arabs
Sort by
say they
18
have
to
full
29
rights. Some
within 1
Arabs
mile
left.
and clean out the
Next
inventory.
question.
Then expand
Truth,
mile up
you're
and expand
inaptly named.
another mile.
You should be untruth.
I
next
swear
one?
to God, if I had a nickel for
Till
every
you
time
hit
someone
10
said that,
miles.
I'd have a lot of nickels.
You'd have a nickel. What's your next
We
point?
don't be rich and we
Then
don't be
expand another
hanging
mile
out
till you hit 10
in
miles.
Israel and the whole situation would be cleared up and we'd be
I mean, you can be hanging out in Israel anytime you want, but the thing is, they probably
go
don't
right
let you
now.
in. If you support
yeah, exactly. If I go on a
If you're
flotilla
a terrorist.
Angela,
Well,
I
well,
can't
no,
if,
no,
if
no.
I give any type of if I want to rub elbows with
Kill
peaceful people that happen to be on the other side of the
wait, Hamas is
the
peaceful
border.
people?
Yeah, I never said Hamas.
Go through Jordan.
Don't be dishonest, Hari. Don't be
Go-
dishonest, Hari. That's Hari. That is
think-
very argumentation, Harry.
So you
I've
think the
never
civilians
denied
there are
somebody.
peaceful people?
I think that the civilians there who haven't harmed peaceful people, who haven't
Sure.
harmed Israelis, are peaceful people. Yes, I do.
So what about the
Find them.
what about the same ones that what about the same ones that held hostages in their houses, that spit on the bodies of people being brought over from Israel into Gaza? What about those? Are those okay too? Because they didn't harm anybody. They just spit on their.
Well, I mean, if they're like I said, are they harming people? Are they harming people?
So you would be okay if I brought a dead woman's body?
No. I was
the body
giving,
and
no, I was No, I was giving you that. I don't think that should have happened at all. I don't think that should have happened. I don't condone that behavior at all. I also don't condone. It could.
Do you think that they would accept you? Do you think that you would be able to walk into Gaza as an American woman and nothing would happen?
You wouldn't make it a block.
That's a lie. So here's what.
No, wait,
Not a
lie. I was just there. It's not a lie.
I don't care about
you
your
wouldn't make it.
ethical
I don't care either. Well,
I literally
find it on the map.
Fucking
The
blog.
difference between you and I, truth, is that you couldn't find Israel on the map. If I asked you two
I couldn't find
questions
Israel
about
on the map. Go fuck
That's
yourself.
correct.
The dumbest-
You
what
couldn't
the
find
fuck is
Israel
that?
on the
Like,
map.
what the
That's
fuck?
correct. That's correct. You couldn't find Israel on the map. It's true. It's absolutely true.
Literally,
You don't want me to. You don't want me to test you right now. You don't want to. I beg your pardon.
Like to you.
A half-wit, at best, maybe quarter.
Okay, but do I have
What's your next question?
Because last I checked, that's not one of them.
I'm not interested in ethnic origin at all.
Cool. So you
What's your
can't
next
say,
question?
you can't look at my face, so you don't even know what I look like. So you're.
Why would I want to know what? This is an audio app, you half-wit.
I have a
talking to each
picture
other.
of me and my uncle in my PTR.
How am I supposed to know that that's you and your uncle?
I guess
That's
it's just
me.
two random Ethiopian motherfuckers, huh?
I don't care.
Well,
So
what
I can't
relevance
find
does that
Israel.
have to the
No,
conversation,
no.
Truth? What
No,
relevance does that
I
have?
can't find Israel.
You know, what's your last
Israel
question?
and Ethiopians, what did they do to
What's
the
your last?
Ethiopians, Norm?
I just made a
What did
point.
they do to the
because
Ethiopians, Norm?
we brought them there. We risked our lives. We're the only people
You
who
risked your- this is how you know he's a
Excuse me.
propaganda.
Since you asked, I'm going to answer.
This is how you know he's a propaganda.
Hold on, guys. No, Norm. You guys are doing the thing again. Take turns speaking. Literally, just take turns speaking. This means that when the other person is speaking, if one person is speaking, the other person should remain muted. This is not complicated stuff.
Yeah, Norm, the reason I brought up
you asked a question about Ethiopians. I will tell you. Well, Israelis are the only people in human history who brought Africans out of Africa to freedom. The only ones,
That's
and
a
risked
lie.
our lives to do it. It's not a lie. Name another people who did that.
Various
You can't.
things. What the fuck?
Name another
You guys
people
have
who
these
did it.
budget things where it's like,
Name another. You want to know why you can't? Because it didn't happen. Because I checked my facts, unlike you. Now, what's your next point? We're the only people in human history that lifted Africans out of Africa to freedom. Only ones, and risked our lives to do it. Now, what's your next point?
Norm, let's bet $1,000 on this.
Update your hinges.
Just make your next point.
You said they're the no.
Just make your next point, unless you have other information.
So
please
can I
don't.
debunk your last point?
Who else did it?
Debunk it. Would you
Who
bet
else
me
did it,
$1,000?
Debunky? Who else
Would
did
you
it?
bet me
You don't know.
$1,000?
Next point. No, make your next point. I already crushed you. Make your next
So
point.
you said no one has accepted African refugees but Israel.
No, I said we're the only people in human history who lifted Africans out of Africa to freedom rather than slavery. That's what I said.
So wait.
And risked our lives to do it.
You're trying to cover
And
your ass.
risked our lives to do it. Okay.
He's trying to cover his
No,
ass.
I'm
everybody.
finished with him. He doesn't have. He knows
He's trying to
he's
cover
crushed. It's done.
He's trying to cover his ass. Look at him.
I don't need to.
Look at him
Either
running.
what other country did it?
Why are you running?
What other country did it?
You said the Ethiopians.
What other country did it? None. Goodbye.
You said the Ethiopians
We're done.
that came to Israel.
We're done.
No.
Okay, next
You said
person,
the
Mojo.
Ethiopians.
He's too stupid for this
We're
conversation.
gonna find it.
Hold on, guys.
Yeah,
Hold
I'm not
on.
right here.
Hold on. Let's little bit of mediation here. So, True, is there a reason why you're not responding to what Norm?
Well, because he keeps muting me.
No. Well, hold on. Let me just say this: if you guys can't handle the mod badge
No, I'm not being allowed to reply.
I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to the mods, all of the mods. Do not mute this guy. If Norm's asking him a question, we want the guy to be able to reply. So, Norm, go ahead and ask your question again, and we'll get Truth to reply. And if he doesn't reply, then we'll...
Oh no, I got the question.
What
My
other
reply is something he doesn't
country
like to
besides?
debunk and
Hang on, I'm asking
framing
my
up his
question. My turn.
He actually said in the statement, he said
I'm
it was
asking my
slaves.
question.
The Ethiopians were...
Dude, Truth, respectfully, let him ask his question. Norm, ask your...
You can have all the time you need. What other country in human history airlifted black folks out of Africa to freedom besides Israel?
Okay, so just before I answer the question, and do not interrupt me, please, thank you, because you're controlling narrative and it's propagandist. The first thing you said was Israel took in Ethiopians that were slaves. They weren't slaves. Like, that's just fucking weird.
I never said that.
It's almost as if
I
they
never
equated
said
blackness
that.
with slavery.
I never said that. It's not my
Yes,
thing.
you don't even
speak English.
Wait, please let me finish. The next thing you said is that they did them a favor. This is important. Anyone here, if you're bored, just Google Israel.
Never said we made them a favor.
Blouses,
You're answering a
they did
question
what
right
fucking
now.
Americans did. They did like
Okay, Mojo,
they did
I don't
what
have
Hitler
to.
did.
Hang on a second.
They unironically,
Hang on a second.
literally
Hang on a second.
did what Hitler
Hang on a
did to
second.
Jews, to these
Hang on a second.
Ethiopians.
Hang
See
on
how
a
you
second.
can't let me finish?
No, hold on, guys. Hold on. Real quick. Norm.
I have a question.
Yeah, hold on. Real quick. We're gonna make this very simple. Norm, without any extra stank being put on it, just simply ask the question, then mute yourself, and then I will call upon Truth to answer the question. Go.
Thank you, and I'm sorry you have to do this. What other country in human history airlifted black folks out of Africa to freedom rather than slavery, risking our lives to do it?
Yeah, Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, New Zealand, because we're talking about black refugees being resettled, right? So, anyway, like I was saying, resettling African refugees is not unique to Israel. But you know what is unique to Israel? Making the women infertile. Do you know what I'm referencing, Norm, or do I have to educate you?
That's also a lie, by the way.
When was there an airlift of black folks out of
Notice that
Africa by
who paid attention
Canada?
to what Norm is trying to ignore?
This is a lie.
I'm challenging your first statement, then we'll challenge your second lie. When did the U.S. Canada airlift black folks out of Africa to freedom? Please tell us when and where, because I can tell you when Israel did it. Go ahead.
Oh my fucking god. Alright, so let's go look up United States takes in African refugees. This is
Not taking airlift out of Africa, risking their lives.
That's not what happened. You know that's not what Israel did, right?
It definitely happened. It happened multiple times.
That's not what happened.
Exactly. Well, now you're debating something
Okay, so
different.
educate me. I'll be
Okay.
please educate
When did the United States do it?
And please
mention
provide
the
a
airlift.
source. Norm,
Please
please
mention
provide a source.
Operation
Ramble
Moses
like
and
your own
Operation
dumb
Solomon.
I cannot wait for this source, Norm, because
Operation Moses and Operation Solomon. You're very ignorant about this stuff. When did the U.S. do it?
No, please. You said Israel did it. Please tell us about it and get us
Sure. We wanted to learn about Operation Moses? Okay, hang on. Operation Moses. I can't believe how ignorant you are. Aren't you embarrassed to not know this stuff? Claiming to be whatever it is you claim to be? Hang on, I'm unlocking my thing here. So, Operation Moses was the covert evacuation of Ethiopian Jews from Sudan during the civil war that caused a famine in 1984. Originally called Gur Arya Yehuda by Israelis, the United Jewish Appeal changed the name to Operation Moses. Date, November 21st, 1984 through January 5th, 1985. By the way, it was done by the Mossad. Unprecedented undertaking, a three-way collaboration between the Mossad, the CIA, and Sudanese state security to smuggle 8,000 Beta Israel out of Ethiopia, where they faced hardship, persecution, famine, and death in the massive airlift to Israel. There's much more. That's just one. I guess you never heard of it.
No, I've heard of this. But, to be fair, I didn't actually know they were airlifted out, so I just looked up.
Well, you just learned something.
I'll take that out. I didn't know they were airlifted out. I'll take that. The reason why
nobody else did that, by the way.
Respectfully, I took that out. But how were those refugees treated once they arrived?
Integrated into society like any
nothing happened. Nothing
population.
controversial whatsoever.
Well, there was false charges that 35 people received Depo-Provera, which is a birth control injection, when they were in refugee camps because rape was widespread, but it was debunked. Next question.
Okay, I'm gonna look into the debunking of it. I'm gonna look into
Sure.
the debunk. Do you have by chance
okay.
have
Any more? So let's move on. Do you have any other point?
Hold on, real fast.
Yeah, you'll find it. Yeah. Okay, what's your next question?
I'll find it.
Yeah, it was debunked. What's your next question?
I'm looking into
Nothing.
that
Okay.
right now.
Well, let's move. Can we move on, Mojo? He doesn't know anything about. And like I said, you couldn't find Israel on a map. Nor could you find this so-called Palestine. Nor could you even name a city.
Hey, I got a question.
Show the outward.
Hold on, I got a question for Truth. Truth, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm just reading about this one.
Yeah. So I just real quick when people chant from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. What river are they referring to?
He's got to Google it real quick.
Bloody hell.
It's
Bloody
amazing.
hell.
You're muted.
I didn't expect this. Bloody hell. You couldn't find it on a map. It's tragic. And by the way, the right of return...
Another tab. I literally said I was reading, bro.
Okay, what's the river?
Jordan and Mediterranean, bro. Get out of here.
So he had to Google.
Nice
He had to Google. He had to Google.
Yeah, I had to Google.
Listen, hold on.
Another tab.
Hold on, everyone mute themselves. Everyone mute themselves. Listen, this is the test that you should give to people in real time. When they start talking about Israel, you should just simply ask them, when they say the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, just simply ask them what river, what sea. And what you'll get is what Truth just did, where he pauses.
I didn't pause. I was on mute.
It's even better. Hold on. It's even better when you do it face to face, where they don't get an opportunity to use the Google machine. Like the next time you meet people, just ask them. Don't ask them in an accusatory way. Just ask them like you're curious. Just say, "Hey, so what river are they talking about? What sea are they talking about?" And then just laugh at the answers that they give you, or laugh even more when they don't give you an answer.
Yeah, so anyway, what I was doing was reading about his claim that it was debunked. I don't know how the fuck I Googled something while reading something else. Anyway,
You said you were on a different
so
tab.
you
You
said,
admitted it.
hold on. I said
I'm
why
not
you
gonna
told me to
hold
go find it because
You admitted it. You were on a different
You
tab.
can't find it. Yeah, on a different tab, reading about what we were just discussing.
Oh, you're right. So you didn't know, did you? Just admit it.
We were
You
just
didn't
talking
know.
about this. You
Just
fucking
admit it.
jackass.
You
I
had
just
no
put the
idea.
link in chat. Bro, you guys test motherfuckers' patience. I just put the link in
You
chat.
don't have any patience.
Where is the debunking for them sterilizing Ethiopian women?
You're gonna have to find it.
You said no. You said it never happened. I
Yes.
found
Hey, you got any other
Did.
Mojo? Why are we doing this?
Do
He's
it
a halfwit.
Dude, debunking your lie.
Well, hold on. No, Norm.
I'm here.
No, I'm just asking to have a little patience. The guy self-identified as a retard, so we have to be a little patient.
Jesus, God, give me patience. Anyway, like I said, you made a claim that the Ethiopian Beta Israelites being airlifted, and to my credit, to your credit, I admitted that I actually didn't know they were airlifted. I just always assumed it was caravan or some shit. Now I know why you emphasize the fuck out of the word airlift. But regardless, I did know about the plan though. I did not know about the airlift, but regardless of that, the main contention was that when they got there, they were sterilized. Now, you told me that was debunked. I took it on face value because I just took the L on the airlift, so I said, hey, look, maybe I'm wrong. I go and look it up. I can't find a single fucking source debunking it, but I'm finding a bunch of sources verifying it. So if you would do me one last favor, and I'm sure if you, I don't know, maybe you want people thinking that Israel sterilized black people just because they're black?
No, you're a fucking lying anti-Semite. I don't want anybody to think like you. The article is in the chat halfwit. I'm sorry, you're not a halfwit, you're a quarter-wit. The article is in the chat. Who's next?
This is a Jew. Okay,
Who's
you
next?
have a third party.
Who's next? No
Do you have a
more.
third-party news publication?
Mojo, he's too stupid.
Do you have a third-party news publication?
There are many.
Jewish government?
You've been debunked.
This guy gave me Russia
Mojo.
today to talk about Russia. This is fucking
Yeah, hey, guys,
Okay.
look, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move on. It's clear
exactly
that it's clear that, like, look, this whole room, the title of the room is Bema Lectures to Jews About Zionism. I think this room's been kind of a letdown because I haven't heard anything that was educational. I'm looking for somebody, whether it's the self-identified retard or Bema, who rejects the term, to continue to educate the Jews on the stage and in the room about Zionism. And honestly, like, I find it fascinating how much information you experts have on this topic. It's absolutely amazing, especially considering when asked what river, what sea.
No evidence that Ethiopian women were forced to take birth control. That's in the chat. That's just one of many publications to debunk your lies, which are pathetic.
Okay, so find me one that's third party.
Huh?
Find me one that's not based in Tel Aviv.
What's the third party?
Find me.
Okay, Mojo. Read it first.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. How about this?
Yeah.
We're gonna kind of gently move past this topic. I'm gonna go ahead and just ask a question, and it has nothing to do with Israel. It has nothing to do with Palestine. I want to shift gears a little bit and see where the room is at, because this other topic, people kind of shift gears. There's a lot of intellectual inconsistency here. I want to ask about the conflict that's happening between Russia, Ukraine. What do you guys think happened there? Anybody want to take a poke at what happened there? Because this is one that fascinates me, because I see people, like, when I look at these two conflicts, for me personally, I see Russia invaded Ukraine, ergo Russia bad, retaliatory force good, ergo Ukraine doing what they need to do. If you go into the Israel conflict with Hamas is a terrorist group. They attacked Israel's civilians, women and children. They still have hostages to this day. Ergo, Hamas committed the act of aggression, and the retaliatory force, the righteous retaliatory force, is being used by the IDF. And I see these things pretty black and white. But I also see people that are, you can be pro-Israel and then pro-Russia, or any combination thereof. And I'd like to talk about that thing. Norm, why do you think there are people in the U.S. and in the West that can look at those two situations and end up on the wrong side of either of those? And specifically, I want to start transitioning this conversation into Russia, Ukraine, but is there a reason why you think people in the West have a problem calling out naked?
Yeah, people have a weird obsession, as we've just seen, based on moronic inability to think. They have weird obsessions about Jews. It's been around for thousands of years, all these myths and lies. Oh, you killed Jesus. Oh, you killed God. Oh, you use Christian babies' blood to make monster. Oh, you not that you risked your life to save your Ethiopian brother. Oh, you gave them birth control. One bunch of bullshit after another. Just endless bullshit. By the way, only people in human history that lifted black folks out of Africa to freedom rather than slavery. Did Truth ever say thank you? He took an L. He didn't say thank you, or he didn't say I was wrong. No. So why? Because people have a weird, sick obsession. And by the way, I figured out why they have this obsession, Mojo. Especially folks who have been oppressed and suffered slavery themselves, like us. It's because they see the redemption in our narrative, that once we were slaves and now we're free. That song is written about the Jews who were enslaved in Egypt. It's a gospel song that black folks sing in this country, America. Once we were slaves and now we're free. Once we were blind, now I can see. they make a mistake in their brain thinking that the story must be about them. It's not enough that this beautiful story, our Torah, applies to them as it applies to every human being. Yes, your suffering has meaning, but something clicks in some people's minds, like people in this room, and they think that they have to be us. And so they hate themselves, and they take that self-hate and focus on us and say, you're not the real thing, we're the real thing. Even though it's just an absurd contention. It's like a personality disorder. Then they'll tell you what you think and feel in order to avoid admitting what their own low self-esteem and sense of worthlessness. That was a bit of a psychological lecture. I should publish that.
I see. Okay. Anybody else on the stage want to tell me when they look at the Russia-Ukraine conflict, who they see as the aggressor? Anybody want to answer that? Bima, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on who the aggressor is with Russia-Ukraine.
Always the state. It's always the state. Russia wouldn't be able to do what it was able to do without the violent back force of the state. They're not a bunch of Russians that are so pissed off that a few Ukrainians wanted to live the way that they wanted to live, declare independence however many years ago. They didn't give a shit. They're just following orders like the sheep that they are to do what government and daddy says. And then that's the collectivist disease. It's always the government. These aren't people warring back and forth. This isn't a civil war.
So you would agree that you would agree that it's the tyrants, Putin, that invaded Ukraine. You'd agree with that?
I'd say, of course, but more so, right? Putin didn't go by himself. He wasn't just this person born to the planet with all of this military power, right? He got it. How did he get it? Through a belief. People, a fucking superstition. Bunch of people believe that he has some authority and they're just going to follow and do what he says. So they're going to go and harm innocent people and violate other people who are just trying to live. It's what it is. Always the government. Always the government.
Kind of sounds like what Hamas did to Israel.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, you agree on that? Interesting.
No, absolutely.
20 minutes ago.
No, you just didn't listen, Harry. More Harry argumentation. I'll tell you what. Who Hamas should have
That should be
fought?
an official term, Harry argumentation.
Harry, I like that too. I like it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't
Harry.
like it for the reasons why you like it, but
Of
I find Harry to be very.
Harry.
He's got a common sense approach to these things. Like if somebody commits an act of terrorism, he calls them terrorists. And if somebody kills a terrorist, he says, yeah, that was probably the right thing to do. I think Harry argumentation is rooted in common sense.
No, what should have happened, Harry, is as soon as people, whoever they might be, IDF, whoever, whatever entity began building a wall, they should have... Palestinians should have fucking took them out, slaughtered them right there as soon as they started to put them in and tell them that they couldn't live free as free people and travel peacefully. Take them off. Take it right there. And I would have been right fucking there. I also would have been right fucking there with that day on October 7th when these Hamas, these terrorists came in and decided to harm innocent people. Those innocent people were the people who created these blockades, who are starving, who are sending the war, who are sending the rockets, and who are destroying the infrastructure. No, it's the individuals. And the Palestinians should have taken every motherfucker out. That peaceful protest that happened before October 7th for 8 months, bullshit. Every single IDF, I don't give a shit, that stood there, that blockaded them, told them they couldn't get food. take them out. As soon as they said, oh, I'm going to put a gun to your head, I have inherent moral authority over you. I'm going to tell you when you can move and what you can do and how you can get aid. Other people, take them out. I'll tell you what else, the flotillas as well. The flotillas coming, peaceful people coming to aid other peaceful people in exchange. IDF, those people should be taken the fuck out. The IDF, take them the fuck out, right? You don't interfere with peaceful people.
You keep repeating yourself, but everything you said is actually wrong. If you actually know the history about what was going on over there for the past 60 years, you would realize why there was a wall put up in the first place. I don't know if you've ever heard about the first Intifada or the second Intifada, but that was pretty much the primary reason that why there was a fucking wall in the first place. Second of all, the people in Gaza had the right to freely go into Israel and work into Israel, make money inside of Israel. And who do you think was supplying Gaza with electricity, water? Who do you think was supplying? You think it was their own infrastructure?
As soon as you tell somebody that...
No, of course it matters. Of course it matters. You didn't let me finish.
Sure, go ahead, Harry.
The first Intifada and the second Intifada, people were Palestinians who are... Hamas are Palestinians, by the way. I don't know who do you think Hamas are. They're just some random people in Gaza that no, they're Palestinians. That's who they are. First of all, they would go inside of Israel. They would kill people, family, little kids. This is way before October. This is years and years ago. They would go in. They would go on to. You can look this up. There was a story of a Palestinian terrorist. You can call him Hamas. You can call him Palestinian terror. Whatever you want to call him. Went onto a bus, a city bus that was taking kids to school and blew up the fucking bus as a suicide bomber and killed the innocent kids. And this was just one instance out of many. That was during the first Intifada, the second Intifada, which was the reason why the Israeli government decided, hey, we need to put a wall up, we need to make sure this is regulated. People can't just keep coming inside and out of Israel without being checked to see if they have any bombs on them, weapons on them to come and commit terrorist attacks. So it's not just like, let's just put up a wall just to put up a wall. There was a reasoning for it, right? So maybe if you actually understand the reasoning behind things, you would realize why that happened. It's not just because we wanted to put up a wall for fun, okay?
Right, yeah, that's what I hear. But my issue is, what year was the wall put up, do you know?
I don't know. I can go look that up. I have no idea exactly when it was because it wasn't just a 1 year thing. It was over time they did that. So
the security wall was a response to the Intifada, like you say, Harry.
That's right. That's what. See, El Normo knows. He knows.
Wait, what's
so like 2007,
well, you didn't know.
Right?
You didn't even know what the second Intifada was.
Hold on. I know how Listen, what? That's hilarious. We could. Do you understand that you could just keep going back though? You go with the second Intifada, the first Intifada, and then what happened before that? Then the Lebanon War, and then what happened before that? The Yom Kippur War, all around the same time. Wait, we could go back. Yeah,
the Yom Kippur wasn't against Palestinians, by the way.
Well, what happened before that?
Wait, why don't you stay with one topic at a time? It's like ADD over here.
Yeah, but hold on. But no, but this is what I'm talking. Then you just keep going back.
Wait,
you had the Lebanon insurgency. Then before that, you had the war, 6 Day War. Before that, you had the
one at a time, Beamer. One at a time. Okay. You mentioned.
Hold on. Can I finish just talking to Harry real quick?
But you're just rambling around. Like, take one point at a time. Yom Kippur War in 1973 was a sneak attack on the holiest Jewish day of the year in an attempt to wipe out Israel. What point are you making about it?
Why did that happen? Why did that happen?
Because they told us why. They wanted to wipe out Israel. They said it.
Who attacked who, specifically?
Syria and Egypt attacked Israel.
Syria and Egypt attacked Israel.
And again, Yom Kippur War is famous.
Have you not learned the war?
We don't know. I mean, so listen. And by the way, they had way more tanks than we did, and they almost achieved it. And we fought it out in the Golan Heights, which is why when we took the Golan Heights and beat them, a freaking miracle, by the way. I remember now you know how old I am. 2 airplanes. Of course, I was very young when I was in college. Not kidding about that. 2 airplanes full of guys left my college, which was Brandeis, to go to Israel to help out. 2 airplanes full. I remember it well. Yom Kippur, 1973. Syria attacked with all of these tanks. They outnumbered us like 10-1, and these incredible, brave Israeli tank commanders outmaneuvered them and crushed them. We could have taken Damascus at that time, by the way. We could have taken Cairo as well. That's how good we are. So yeah, they attacked us and tried to wipe us out. You didn't know this, Bema?
But what relevance?
That's
That has no relevance to do with Palestinians. Like she just brings
That's
stuff
right.
up that's honestly really irrelevant to what the conversation was about.
They don't
Anyway.
know
Of
anything
course it
about the
does.
region.
Of course it does, because it's all, you don't think that it's all connected? You don't think
No,
that
not at all.
how
Not at all.
okay.
How is it connected if it's nations, sovereign nations attacking Israel?
Why
Like,
you could answer your own question. Why was it that they attacked Israel specifically?
Because they don't want it to exist.
They said it. They said it in words. They want to wipe us out.
If you were to read
Bema, wait
a historical,
I want
you
to give
can
you
even
one
do
word.
an Israeli.
Bema. One word. Genocide was their reason. Genocide. They said it in so many words. They want to wipe us out. That's genocide. Now, what do you want to excuse that? I thought you liked it. I thought you didn't like it when they attacked peaceful people.
So you're saying, Norm?
Yeah.
That giggle.
They tried to commit.
Hold on. Can I say what that giggle represented? That giggle represented El Normo. That's a really good point, and I don't know what to say. Beeman.
No, to be honest, it's slightly disingenuous because yes, and here let me meet you in the middle before I make you think I'm an enemy. So we're innocent Jewish people being attacked, settlers, etc. Yes, but from the
Settlers? When?
perspective,
There were no settlers.
hold on, but that's what I'm saying. From the perspective of the Arabs, they just watched people get displaced and lose their land and
No,
be
they didn't.
replaced.
No, they didn't. They were expanding. They were expansionists. They wanted to conquer a sovereign nation and wipe out all the people in a genocide. They said it.
Yeah, they were very hateful. It's disgusting. I of course that's true.
No, there was no settlers.
Well,
You still don't know the map. Do you know where Syria is? Do you know where the Golan Heights are? Well, why don't you take your little
Is
map
that
and go
northern
now and
Israel?
look at it?
that's
Huh?
not northern Israel.
Look at it on a map. So where were the
But that's
settlers?
Lebanon right there. But wait,
Where were the settlers? You really don't know what you're talking about. You literally.
oh, I see why you said that. You're
These-
saying there were no settlers.
These people
No,
don't
I'm not
understand
talking
that.
about the direct region. I'm not talking about the direct
You've never seen a map. You never took 2 seconds to look at a
Okay,
map.
I literally know okay, anyway. I'm not talking about...
You literally know
that,
what? What do you literally know?
the specific states in the area. The formation of the Middle East. I know it's not the...
I don't think you do.
That's very
I
basic
don't think.
geography.
Okay.
Please,
Here,
please,
let me show how. Let me show you how wrong you are.
Disrespectful. I just wish you'd
Like-
calm down a bit. Like it's weird.
Well,
you're
no,
a grown
this
man.
is the way I am. You
No,
have to get used to it.
I know.
This is the way I order eggs in the morning.
I'll give you that. That's true. Even
This
your
is
friends
the way
can
I
plan.
order eggs in the morning.
I
By the way,
know.
I
I
was
believe
just
it. I believe
I was
it.
just
I
as
believe it.
nasty to the white supremacists the other
I
day
know.
that
I
we did on
believe
Twitter.
you. I believe you. I've seen you with your friends, and they literally tell you they complain just like I do. So.
Well, they're welcome to complain, but you know what? I hate to say this. The
No, at
girls
least it's
love
not
it.
personal, right?
The
At
girls
least it's
love
not
it, by the way. I don't know why, but they do. They're drawn to like nasty guys like me. Anyway, so when is Judea and Samaria, which Jordanian colonists called the West Bank, which is ridiculous. There's no Jordan has no business being there. When Judea and Samaria were occupied, right? Who did we occupy it from, if you know? Truth. And when?
You said I actually don't know. Sorry.
Jordan.
Do you need to know any more?
Wow, I'm
what you
shocked.
don't know?
He said that he didn't know something.
It's
Yeah,
not
you
hard
don't know the region. You don't understand the geography. You haven't seen a map. Jordan attacked Israel in 1967. Up until then, they maintained domination of our holiest site, which is called the Kotel, the wall of the western wall of the temple. And when they attacked in 1967, Israel begged them not to attack. They did anyway because they didn't want to lose face among the other Arab nations. It was Egypt to the west. It was Syria to the north, and it was Jordan to the east. Jordan attacked, and they lost.
And it's interesting.
people-
It's
What's that?
interesting to note that while Jordan, quote unquote, occupied Judea and Samaria, they also destroyed like almost 60 Jewish thugs. They looted and completely desecrated holy grounds to the territory. And when Israel took over after the war in
Took it
67, right, when they took it back in 67, they allowed the Waqf to maintain control of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. They didn't destroy
That's correct.
anything.
That's correct. The WAQF, W-A-Q-F. That's right. That's the religious authority.
Yeah.
You know, you probably didn't know this either, Truth. Did you know that these so-called Palestinians had Jordanian passports? I don't know what makes them Palestinian. They have Jordanian passports. So do you? I got another
I
one
just
for you.
triple checked. Hold on, I just triple checked. I knew I was right. So
About what?
Israel had begun settling in those territories in the Sinai Peninsula. The Golan
What
Heights.
territories?
In the Sinai Peninsula and the
We
Golan
were
Heights.
talking about Syria.
Well, no, I'm talking about back when we were talking about the young
You
people.
said
The Sinai
there were
Peninsula.
settlers. There were no settlers for them to attack. There were no settlers in the Golan. We're talking about Syria.
The Golan Heights that's Syria. That's right next.
That's north. You said Sinai
There were no
Peninsula.
settlers up there.
Hold on,
There
so
were no
if
settlers.
I'm not mistaken,
There were
right?
Israeli
The
farms.
6-Day War happens. They capture that territory. To be fair, hey, they took it in war. They attacked them. But to be fair, they also attacked because that was when they first came and took the land in the first place. So that was a response.
Who took what land?
From my understanding, the WZO negotiated with the Ottomans and the British to secure.
Dude, who took what land? What are you talking about?
The Zionists purchased what we would consider Israel, modern day Israel.
What do you mean?
And they displaced
Israel
700,000.
was created on May 14th, 1948.
I guess you never heard of the UN partition plan either.
That's what I'm describing right now. No, it was a purchase agreement before. You don't even trust me. It was
so what are you
happening
talking about
by
Syria?
1920. No, people think Israel was 1940. It was like 19. Norm, you know him, right? It was like 1920.
Don't try to get me on your side.
Hold on.
You don't know what you're
Hold on,
talking about.
Well, no, I
I don't
thought
know what you're talking about. You literally.
Hold on, guys. Hold on,
I
guys.
just thought you-
Hold on. Everyone, hold on.
But you know I'm
Oh
right.
no!
so I just thought-
Everyone holding on includes people that self-identify as retards.
Oh my God.
So I just want to just ask this question. Truth. When you think about the conflict between Israel and Hamas and the this idea of Palestinians or of this imaginary place of Palestine, would you consider yourself, like, scale from 1 to 10, 10 being a fucking expert on the history of this conflict, and then 1 being you know nothing at all? Where would you rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 on your knowledge of it?
I'll give 2 scales. 1 a personal scale, 2 a public scale. Because like most people probably are like literally functioning as like a 0. And compared to them, they would think like a 6, but by my own standard, like a 4.
Yeah. You're a 4. Okay. Got it. So I would just say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Considering you didn't know what river, I did,
bro.
I'm going to be kind to you. I'm going to be kind to you. Listen, I'm going to be. Hold on. I'm going to be very kind to you, and I'm going to say that your estimation of a 4 is an overestimation. I'm not going to say if I think you're a 1. Hold on. I'm not going to say you're a 1. I'm not going to say you're a 2. I'm not going to say you're a 3. Hold on. Listen, I'm talking.
What is the Balfour?
I'm talking. Listen, I get it. Self-identified retards.
He said 1948. I said the 1920s. The Balfour.
Is there a reason why you don't understand that I was the one speaking? No, you're trying to interrupt me. I'm not going to let you do that. I don't let self-identified retards have an excuse to interrupt me. You can just stay silent.
I have a chance to reply.
You will absolutely get a chance to reply. I like it when self-identified retards reply to what I have to say. It's amusing to me. So let me just finish. You said that this is your score, that you're about a 4 expert on this conflict. I'm going to say that based on what I've heard today, considering you don't know what river it was, that you were probably less than a 4. And I'm not even going to score it 1, 2, or 3. I'm just going to let your imagination, decide where I might rank you on the scale. What I would also like to ask is a question, and you will get to reply, but I have just a quick question. Norm, when you think of this conflict, the history of Israel, Hamas, and these claims made by the imaginary group of people called Palestinians, would you consider yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 knowing nothing, 10 knowing everything? Where would you rank yourself, Norm?
7.
Excellent. I would say that is probably an underestimation, because I think you have a very good understanding of this stuff. And by the way, when who the hell am I to decide this stuff? Listen, I observe stuff. I read everything. When I talk to people that are genuine historians about this stuff, it seems like while there are definitely opinions that may vary, when it comes to the facts, I think Norm is very strong with the facts, and I think truth. What I would encourage you to do, and I promise you're going to get to reply, what I would encourage you to do is do some study, figure out what river, figure out what sea, figure out who the Palestinians are, what their lineage is, because you tried to explain it earlier and you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. I would just ask you to do a lot of research and then come back to the room with what resembles facts, and then have a good faith conversation with Norm.
Thank you for giving me a chance to reply. So everything I said was correct. I was talking about the genetic lineage of. I was asked what is a Palestinian, and I said, well, they're a descendant of the.
Wait, hold on, Truth. I was just gonna ask Roger. Roger, do you remember what he answered when you? Because I remember. I almost remember word for word what his answer was. Do you remember what he?
Yeah, he went off on this weird tangent about Canaanites.
No, he didn't. Okay, wrong.
No, actually,
okay,
he did.
Continue.
Bima, why would you? Okay, listen, Bima, you're not going to interrupt this self-identified retard. This is ableism, Bima, so I had to move you down to the audience so you don't commit acts of ableism. No, Truth, I'm going to give you, the self-identified retard, I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, when I spoke about the Levant, and I even said then, I was like, I'm not some expert from off the top of the head. They're descendants of people from the Levant. They have more genetic ancestry to the region than the modern day Israeli does on average. It's mostly Sephardic Jews and Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews are from Spain. So
this is delusional, what you're saying.
No, that's been proven. I can get.
No, it hasn't been. The opposite has been proven.
There's more that I have to reply to.
The opposite has been proven.
There's more that I have to reply to. Because I was treated, and in fact, I kind of have a bone to pick with you, because I asked you to come in and verify what I was saying, because I wasn't wrong, and because it
you were wrong.
Your narrative.
You've been wrong about almost every single thing you said.
No. You gotta let me finish.
Everything.
So you have the Balfour Declaration,
everything.
Right? In 1917, you have. By the way, this is
are we starting over?
This is what's
what is it that you said that you were right about?
Stop. You gotta let me finish. I was promised a chance to finish.
True. So what did you say that you think you were right about?
Because you got mentioned, you don't need to jump in real fast.
Truth, what did you say that you're claiming you were right about?
Please. What you're about to
No, I'm trying to understand.
It's hard for me to think and hear you. Please, bro.
Okay,
please,
so just listen to me.
I'm
what
asking
did you say
to let
that you
me
were
talk, please.
So you weren't right about it, right?
No, I'm asking
wrong.
you to stop interrupting me. I can't hear you and think.
So don't make false statements and you won't answer me, okay?
Cool, okay, whatever, you're right, whatever, please.
Okay.
So like I was in the middle of saying, right? The thing I mentioned was the Balfour Declaration in 1917, and I think this is actually an important piece of history, because I think it's a beautiful moment in history for Jews. I don't think it's something to highlight. It's not bad. I'm not bringing it up as a gotcha.
Well, what does it have to do with anything?
I'm just expressing my perspective on the history.
What about it? Everybody knows about it. What is your point?
Because I think actually the way they were treated is horrible. I think anyone with common decency and reads the history is kind of nuts, right? Because there's a lot. Can you please stop interrupting me? There's a ton of anti-Semitism on the rise in the world. There's a ton of anti-Semitism on the rise in the. Oh my fucking God, Norm!
Yeah. So what point do you want to make about
Let
Balfour?
me talk. Bro, Mojo literally promised I'd get to reply to him, and you have not shut up yet.
But you're not rebutting him. You're just wasting everybody's
I'm not
time.
talking to you, Norm. I'm replying
You're not rebutting him.
I'm replying
You're not
to
rebutting
him.
him.
Just let him
You're not
reply
making
so we
any
can
point.
demolish him after he replies. Go ahead.
He doesn't have to say anything.
Bro, this isn't the Norm show.
Yeah, it is actually.
I know that's how you think.
You're wrong about that
I know
too.
you're a narcissist, but
What do you want to say about? No, you're the narcissist. And the
Okay,
what do
so
you
then
want
go
to say
on
about-
mute for 5
What
seconds.
do you want to say about Balfour?
Thank you. And no, I think this is important because I think this is where people can at least agree and meet in the middle, right?
So far, nothing you've said is important.
Cool, love you. Anyway, so there was a fuck ton of anti-Semitism. Jews were no longer feeling safe in various countries that they had the largest concentration, sadly. And so they begin to talk about it. And this is where you get Zionism, and it wasn't even always originally going to be that area. But
Zionism has existed for thousands of years. That's not where you get Zionism.
Yeah, I know. Zionism is the
Incorrect.
idea of a Zion. But I'm talking about like the secular Zionism, even like the treating it on
It
a
wasn't
political
secular. It wasn't secular. You're just wrong about everything.
What I mean, it was. Hold on. What I mean is, you know what I'm talking about. They literally created.
No, I don't. Nobody does.
The guy,
Especially you.
I'm blanking on his name now. He literally said, we need a secular variant of Zionism. He specifically said it, and he was correct. No, hold on. Please stop. Let me just say what I'm saying. Because it was important that happens, and that's how you start getting it. You have the first Aliyah, the second Aliyah, and then sadly, of course, the third, which is like, and then that after that's the Holocaust, and then you get the millions come. And so I'm super sympathetic to the Jews going to that area, immigrating to that area. I don't look at them as like these bad, nasty people. That's not the thing. I'm not an anti-Semite. That's why I hate that I kept getting called an anti-Semite.
What
I'm saying is,
you say a lot of anti-Semitic nonsense.
No,
based on ignorance.
So when they
hold on. I want to intervene real quick. Two things. Norm, you're going to have to let the self-identified retard finish his points. We're going to have to be even more, just patient because he's self-identified. I do not want this rumor to come out of this room that we're being ableist, so I definitely need you, Norm, to allow the guy to speak. But the other thing I wanted to say about this is that you can use anti-Semitic tropes and not be an anti-Semite. The real test of that is when an educated Jew or even an educated person on the topic corrects you. If you continue to use the anti-Semitic tropes after it's brought to your attention that it's anti-Semitic, then you might be an anti-Semite. And so I will forgive people that use anti-Semitic tropes because many people don't know that they're anti-Semitic tropes. But once you're confronted with the truth, if you reject it and continue to use the tropes, then you get the smoke.
If I even touch that, that's a whole new can of worms. So I'm just, oh my god, I just reject the idea I ever said an anti-Semitic trope. But
pretty much everything you said was.
No, Norm, you're gonna let him speak.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
He's gonna get 3 minutes uninterrupted, followed by 3 minutes of Norm uninterrupted.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I'll try to make it as fast as possible. So yeah, you have the British Mandate, the Balfour Declaration. The Zionists successfully getting Britain to express support to create a national home, the negotiation with the Ottomans, the Aliyah series, which is like I think there was 5 of them. The third one was the nasty one after World War One. No, there was another one after that from Poland that was pretty bad because like the anti-Semitism was getting on the rise. And then the biggest Aliyah was the one just before the Holocaust. And then the Holocaust when like 1 million came. And so the region that they were immigrating to just started ballooning in concentration, which is, from a sympathetic stance, good. Because now Jews are given an opportunity to have their own land where they're more safe from the anti-Semitism, which was real, as proven by the Holocaust. But for the locals in the area, all they saw was colonizers using their wealth and adjacency to colonial powers to like kind of imperially land grab, right? And to be fair, this is why I think nuance is always important. It's probably a bit of both. it's really naive to assume that all these, as millions of Jews are moving there, none of them are looking at this as a huge financial opportunity and possibly causing, let's say, discomfort to their neighbors. Now, that being said, nothing that they were doing, in my opinion, justifies the level of crazy racism they experienced. Like that whole behind every rock, behind every book. Like, no, it's a religious kind of hatred that's going on. So I'm not trying to downplay that. I have my own experience with racism as a black person, so I can't imagine what that is. I have Jewish people in my family. I've always been very sympathetic to that. I'm not trying to downplay that at all. But I think what happened is, at some point, the Jews became, they were the winner. The 6-Day War is crazy. And that's another thing. Fuck, I'm probably running out of time, so let me make sure I hurry this up. The 6-Day War is another example of, like, they did not have that coming. That's insane. They almost got genocided. And in a miraculous, as Norm was talking about, in a miraculous turn of events, they dominated. They secured new territory from people attacking them, which is just badass. I just think that's such a badass thing. And historically, if you go to war, you conquer territory, you don't have to give it up. They gave up some of it. They didn't have to. They kept less than they gave back in an attempt to get peace. It didn't work. Like 15 years later, the same states tried again, the Yom Kippur. And it just shows that there was really a high level of hostility to them, and nothing they were doing was like successful in creating fair treatment. But again, now from the other side, from the flip side, the Arabs were mad from the beginning from the UN partition plan. Right now, to be fair, there was violence against Jews before the partition plan, but it escalated dramatically after the partition plan because it gave all the port access and the fertile farmland and the historical, like, relevant territory to the Jewish state, and it gave the Arab state just like the mountains and the dry desert and the shit that no one really wanted. And this is demonstrable. Like, there's, like, Tel Aviv is beautiful, for example, with port access. But anyway, so the point, but realistically,
Okay,
again, that doesn't justify
That's
the crazy level
minutes.
of hatred and evil. And so even that is not to say, oh, this means they can genocide you. No, it's just, it's sick. But these are the things that got the world to be sympathetic with the Palestinians. That's why liberals are associated with feeling sympathetic to them. Because at some point, Israel became so successful that they were punished for their success, which is not fair to them. But that's not what we see today. What we see is people in hunger. So that's why it's like, when we talk about the history of Israel, I'm not even against any of the. Anytime you've disagreed with me, it has to have been discussing, like, modern. Because obviously Hamas is a terrorist state. I don't even see them. But at the same time, the Palestinians alive today have nothing to do with Hamas. Like, realistically, they don't.
Actually, 70% of them support Hamas or more. I think that's your 3 minutes. You're just wrong about everything you said.
I'm wrong about everything I said. Okay.
Everything you said. I'll just take a few most recent things. Tel Aviv was a malarial swamp. A pestilential malarial swamp. Undesirable. Israelis went there penniless, not rich, penniless, and lived in tents and drained the swamp and built Tel Aviv. Check. 1/3 or more of Israel is desert. I know you don't know this. We didn't get the advantageous land. It was desert. We made the desert bloom. Like it says in the Torah. We made the desert bloom. I was just there. It is desert, and we're growing stuff there because we created innovative agricultural techniques. Check. The Arabs got 22 nations and all of the oil. Almost all the land, maybe 1,000 times what the Jews got. Almost all the land and all of the oil. Check, check, check. The Balfour Declaration was not the deciding factor in the Jews returning home. The end of empire was the deciding factor in the Jews returning home. Almost every nation in the United Nations of the 200 were formed in their current form in the 20th century, just like Israel. Pakistan and Greece and the South American countries and Germany the way it looks today, all of these nations were formed in the 20th century, just like Israel. Israel is the only one that people have the chutzpah to say shouldn't exist, or that people have the chutzpah to say what their borders should be. So almost everything you said was wrong. The League of Nations was formed after World War I because that was considered the worst war of all time. It was formed to end those wars. How did they intend to do it? But the Brits weren't there as colonists. The Brits were there to end the empires and manage the land, turning it over to the indigenous people. Who were those indigenous people? Well, there were Jews and there were Arabs. They weren't called Palestinians then. It was a land, British called it the British Mandate of Palestine and Eretz Yisrael. People always leave the second part out. It wasn't called Palestine by the Turks. It was various Sanjaks. There were in Syria and Transjordan. No such thing as a Palestinian in those days. And certainly there was no movement for the Palestinians to have a country. But the British said, okay, you're indigenous, you guys don't get along with each other, you have this land over here, you have that land over there. And then they got down to their real business of making sure that they had good deals with all the sheikhs who owned the lands with the oil, because that's what they were really after. And pretty soon, because the Arabs got pissed off, they blocked the emigration of refugees from the Holocaust to the land of Israel. They blocked it because they wanted to please their Arab oil partners. And so they became almost enemies. And finally, we finished the business of kicking them out of Israel. And by the way, we remain allies with them. They're good allies. They were also allied with the Arabs, by the way. They're the ones that trained the Jordanians to attack us from the east. So your view of Israeli history has been infected by anti-Semitic tropes and anti-Israel, and trying to sweeten it with a sprinkle of sugar with, I know the Holocaust was awful. Yes, I know. People love dead Jews. That's right. Once we have our own country with an army and begin to defend ourselves and defend our borders, and once we begin to go and get our hostages from these barbarians, people don't like us anymore. That's okay. We don't need to be liked. We'd rather be alive and disliked or resented than dead and pitied. That's what Golda Meir said.
I don't disagree with everything you're saying, but I think some of it's being exaggerated. For example, the agricultural presence was actually already existing.
Where? Where?
Okay, so when you're getting the coastal plains, the Jordan Valley, really?
We didn't get it. Jordan took it. Keep going.
Wait, you didn't get the Jordan Valley in the partition plan?
Jordan took it.
Oh, I didn't know that. So wait, you took it in the...
I know you didn't know that. I'm very aware that you didn't know that.
Well, no, hold on. Okay, I'm allowed to get educated. Yeah. Well, anyway, So you took in the 6-Day War? Oh, that's pretty badass. No, okay, that's pretty bad.
They got the east side of the river, we got the west side of the river. Hence, the Jordanians, not Palestinians, call it the West Bank. The Palestinians call it the Dafa, the territories, and Israel calls it, and now the United States call it Judea and Samaria. So update your address books. It's Judea and Samaria. No more West Bank. The king of Jordan is not from the region. He's from Saudi Arabia. He's a Hashemite. He's a cousin of the House of Saud. Again, I don't resent him at all, but he's certainly not indigenous to Jordan.
Okay, so you know what? I'm probably okay. So I'm willing to concede on a lot of things that have to do with the history and the veracity of the territory and the Jewish expansion, because the truth is there was so much hatred towards them in the region. It just and when you said I was educated and infected with anti-Semitism, there probably is some truth to that. Not because I literally think I'm an anti-Semite or I think the sources in which I was educated were anti-Semitic, but the world is in large largely anti-Semitic. So it's kind of like a fish in water. And that's kind of how everything is when it comes to society and culture. That's not unique to Jews. And I, as a black person, am very sympathetic to that. So I can actually kind of conceptualize that. But in line with that same pattern of thinking, I also kind of see the flip side where I think you're very defensive. Where you like, okay, so for example, you said that region wasn't called Palestine, or it was.
I didn't say that. I said the Ottoman Turks didn't call it that. And they held the region for 400 years, or maybe 500. By the way, are you really Ethiopian?
Yeah, my grandmother's side, my father's mother.
You know, you treated the Jews of Ethiopia very, very badly. We had to rescue them. Just pointing that out. No offense to your grandmother.
There's a lot of contention there, so we can have that conversation next time.
No contention whatsoever. They were persecuted. That's why we had to rescue them. They were treated horribly.
You're saying Ethiopian Jews were persecuted by the Ethiopian government?
No, by the Ethiopian people of Ethiopia and the Sudanese.
Well, I can't speak about Sudanese. I'm not Sudanese.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ethnically, you should. Do you speak? No, nobody speaks Amharic in your family, right?
My grandma's passed like 3 years ago, so.
Yeah. Well, she should rest in peace.
Thank you. But yeah, so didn't Rome refer to the area as Palestine?
Rome, that's a European word, Palestine. Romans are European, so they slapped that name on it as a way of trying to dominate the Jews that they were fighting. But it's just a colonial term.
You're right. That's the.
I do believe weren't they called the Philistines?
Yeah, Philistina.
I don't know. That seems to be different people. But Palestinians can't say the word Palestine. They don't have the peace out in there.
Yes, Christian. They're called the Philistines.
Yeah, Philistine. Philistine.
Yeah, it's a European term. It's a colonial term.
Well, so I only say that to say, like, that region has been referred to with that.
Not by the Ottomans. Not in modern. I don't know how much. I mean, you can go back 2,000 years, but it wasn't called that by the Ottoman. They had sanjuks, which were little areas of government, like Syria, Transjordan. I'm telling you, there was almost nothing there. Mark Twain wrote about it. There were a few Scott. There were Bedouins. They didn't have. It wasn't like they had this civilization or anything.
Okay. Yeah, and I kind of meet you in the middle on the because I remembered you made the point that they weren't really fighting for a national identity at the time. The people in the region.
Ever.
They weren't fighting for one, but they had one. So
they didn't have a national identity. There was no king, there was no queen, there was no president, there was no government. There was no national identity.
They tried.
Yeah, but there's hold on, but
they did not try.
They tried.
They did not try.
Hold on. Well, specifically, did they not try? What was the Arab Congress when they were rejecting the Balfour Declaration?
No, there wasn't even a so-called Palestinian representative at that Arab Congress.
His point
at
is
the Arab. What? Oh my God!
There were not.
How can you say there was no?
There was not even a Palestinian representative at the Arab.
El Normo. Herzl himself refers to the area as Palestine.
You just changed the subject because I just refuted you.
No. Because you're saying something where now I have to fact check it because I'm not going to be dishonest.
You better do that.
So I'm going to go and make sure that there. What was it you said? You said there were no Arab. No,
I said there was no Palestinian representative at the Arab Congress. There was no interest in a Palestinian state at that time. Ever.
There was no Palestinian. Okay,
That's
all right.
correct.
Let's see.
Sure. I mean, the Arabs they want like a caliphate.
Let's see if I'm wrong.
Please do.
I didn't think the Arabs like being called Palestinian at that time. I think if I'm remembering correctly, if I'm getting my history right, so it would be.
There were no Palestinians at the time. They weren't called that. They were called Arabs. That time, by the way, they allied with Adolf Hitler. The Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Hajj al-Husseini, formed an alliance with Adolf Hitler because he didn't like Jews coming to the Arab part of the world, coming back to our homeland, and he formed commandos in Egypt, and that sort of remnant of Nazism exists in Egypt to this day. They formed like this corps. He was on the payroll of Hitler for 2 years, Hajj al-Husseini. He was in Europe working in propaganda. The kind of propaganda that you guys have swallowed and that you now repeat, it was early on engineered by Goebbels in Nazi Germany and adopted by Hajj al-Husseini, who worked for him for years, and then came to Egypt and formed these. But then Germany was defeated, and those commandos in Egypt were. I think they were called Eisenstadt Corps. I have to go look up. I don't really know German. And they published. They spread the book Mein Kampf, the anti-Semitic text Mein Kampf in Egypt, which still sells very well today. There was no we want to have a Palestinian state. Remember, they were offered a Palestinian state and they rejected it. It was tiny, the same way Israel was tiny. Teeny tiny. They didn't want it. And what they wanted was... What did I call it?
Palestinian state.
Yeah, Arab state. Hi, Yoav. Now, there's somebody who knows... Hi. I don't
know. You know more than me. I gotta take my head tip out of you. Yeah, I do.
I don't.
Can I get a word in edgewise here?
I appreciate the conversation thing. I've learned a lot. Don't agree on everything, but I do feel as though I've shifted a lot. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Captain.
I would provide my assess my understanding. My understanding of the history of Israel and my depth of understanding of the current conflict at about a 3. But what I heard, I came in fairly late, but I did hear Truth's 3-minute dissertation. I would say that arguing with Norm about the history of the state of Israel would be like me arguing with Kissinger about the history of the United States. Now, I'm not saying Norm is at the level of Kissinger, but in terms of his...
Hello.
Hi, this is Candace with the Department of Employment Security. Is this John?
Yes.
Hi, I was just giving you a call about an unemployment claim that you've reopened. Do you have just a moment?
Yep.
Okay. Before I discuss the claim, can I have you verify your date of birth?
11/6/82.
All right, thank you. So the reason I'm calling is you had opened up a claim back in March, and there wasn't any new information on the claim. So I was just calling to confirm that your last day of work was May 22nd of 24, and that you've not had any new employment since then?
No, actually, it's based on the letter I received from IRS. My last day of employment was May 30th, 2025.
Okay. When was the last day you were physically there to work?
Well, a lot of it is remote, so I have an ongoing employee EEO complaint, which is tied to the unemployment claim. So to my technical last day.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying my technical last day with the agency, where I received an actual termination letter was May 30th, 2025. And the last physical time that I was on site was last year, in May of last year. But I've been, technically working remote.
Okay. So if you've been working remote, when was the last day you actually worked?
I think it was May 30th of 2024.
Okay, right. So, whenever you had filed the claim back in March, there would have been an interview scheduled in regards to your separation from them, and it looks like you were denied benefits based on that separation. So, in order to qualify for unemployment benefits,
It's a new basis of separation. That's what I'm claiming. So I'm technically filing a new and separate claim.
so it's still the same.
It's not because
last day of work.
Well, it's technically not because I mean I'd have to send you the letter they sent me if you really want to see it.
Okay. I mean, you could. What I would maybe do is just go ahead and send in the appeal to that particular issue that was addressed back in April. Just state that you're appealing that decision and send in that letter, and then we would have to schedule it to be looked at to see if we need an administrative law judge to take a look and get a telephone hearing scheduled.
Okay, so where do I mail the appeal to? Can I do it online?
You can actually do it online. There is an appeal form. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't, you can just handwrite it or type it out. You just want to state that you disagree with that particular issue number, and I can give you the issue number.
Okay, what is that?
Okay, it's 006.
Wait, hold on one sec.
6. Okay.
Okay, 006.
602.
Okay.
And the letter A, and that's specific to your separation from them.
Okay.
And then there was a deny of benefits on a different issue as well. This issue number is 007 500, and the letter C is in cat. And that decision was based on whether you're able and available for work. So you would want to go ahead and appeal that too, because those are both holding up benefits on the claim.
Okay. All right,
and then again, just send that in, and what I'll do, since it's technically a reopened claim, I'll backdate this by a couple weeks so that you can certify this week. So it'll be just a second here while I do that.
And when I file this appeal, I can just log into the portal and submit the appeal in there?
You can. You're just going to go to the option that has you upload a document, and you can upload it right there.
Okay.
And then as far as this claim, that the file that you just reopened, you would have technically certified yesterday since I backdated it. But what you do is you'll just certify Thursday, because Thursdays and Fridays are makeup days.
Okay.
All right, well, that's what I needed. Did you have any questions for me while you had me on the phone?
No, that's it. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Article from the BBC where the IDF admitted they mistakenly shot 6 children waiting for water. They died from airstrike while waiting in line for water. That was on the 13th.
BBC. Great source.
So what are sources I should be respecting?
Go to Twitter. There is a handle that's called Gazawood or Pallywood.
For you ain't a student. It don't matter. I like discounts. Don't be mad because I save money. What the hell? Don't go change.
You mean you engage in illegal activity to save $5?
It's not illegal.
This is just based on religious hatred towards Jews. You can see that all around the world. Just look at I believe you're a Christian. If you're a Christian, just look at what is happening to Christians in Mozambique. what is happening to Christians in Nigeria, what is happening to Christians in Pakistan. They are being eliminated.
Yeah, I saw that in Nigeria. Yeah, I saw that.
So the same thing is happening with the Jews. If you read the scriptures of Islam, you'll find that there is a lot of anti-Semitism against the Jewish people. The problem with that, the problem is, within this 2025, Islam is able to gaslight a lot of people into believing Jews are the problem. See, they have got more than 50 Islamic countries. Why can't they take them in? Now they are claiming that Gaza is being surrounded by, isolated from all other places by Israel. But if you look closely, there is a southern boundary wall, isn't it, with Egypt. That's a 12-kilometer wall, which is fully blocked by Egypt. I don't know, have you heard of the Black September incident? Have you heard of the Black September incident?
It sounds super familiar, but I'm blanking. I don't know why.
Exactly. Palestinians went into Jordan. The PLO chairman, they started abducting the Jordanian civilians. They bought a plane. They blew up the plane in front of the camera. And the Jordanian king, they wanted to kill the Jordanian king and install a caliphate. Okay, so it is on religious. The Jordanian king, fed up with the Palestinians, brought in Pakistanis who are now crying for Gaza. 25,000, at least 25,000 Palestinians were slaughtered in few days. So the Jordanians themselves cannot stand Palestinians.
Yeah,
okay,
I remember this.
Now what happened in Kuwait?
I remember this.
What happened in Kuwait? Do you know what happened in Kuwait?
Oh, I don't know. So this I actually knew, but I forgot. You just reminded me. Thank you. I don't know about Kuwait though. I know about like the Gulf War, and but I don't know about what I think you're about to say.
Okay. So I'll tell you what happened in Kuwait is when Saddam invaded Kuwait, the Palestinians who sought refuge there, who were given refuge there, actually sided with the Saddam. I've heard reports of Palestinians looting the Kuwaits and raping some of their women. I don't know if it is true. I have to confirm that. But the problem is they sided with Saddam. Okay? So when the war was finally over, the Kuwaitis secretly kicked them out. No problem at all. Nobody's cried. Why? Because this was done by a Muslim against a Muslim. Because the Palestinians were going against the interest of the nation. This is not only the case of Jordan or Kuwait. There are other nations which have kicked them out. They don't like them. So these brats,
Egypt,
none of the Arabs want them. Sorry? Egypt.
Egypt kicked them out too. Egypt doesn't want them.
Yeah.
Israel did not want Gaza, but Egypt didn't want Gaza, so we got stuck with it.
Yeah. So what I'm asking truth is, see, none of their Arab brothers who are crying for them want them in their house, but they want these people to, they want Israel to take them, or they want to wipe out the Israel. So this is nothing about land. I am from India. We are also, you have never faced the Islamic problem. That is why you are finding that all these stories that these people are saying are far-fetched. Only when you live under an Islamic, when you have significant Muslims in your area, only then you will find that, all these stories are nothing compared to, what these people are saying. It is coming to, I think you're in United States, isn't it? It is coming to, I am seeing a lot of imams calling for, caliphate there. And believe me, if Trump goes out and some idiot comes in, and if the next president is going to be somebody who is very lenient, believe me, you will have it. And this is not a free speech problem. The Westerners, they treat this Islamic problem as a free speech problem. They discuss a lot. This is not a free speech problem, and this is a problem of survival. If Islam takes over your nation, you will not survive. you know the kind of humiliation that you will be subjected. I don't know whether you understand that or not. Just look at what's happening in Egypt also. So none of these Islamic nations allow, like freedom of religion and worship and all, but they want that in your nation. And I am proud to say that I belong to a nation where Jews were never persecuted. They lived here for 2,000 years. They prospered. Many of them, they were pioneers in many areas. And when finally Israel happened, they left this place and went to Israel. If they were actually occupiers, they would have occupied a large portion of our nation, isn't it? They didn't occupy anything. They contributed to our society. And even though the Christians and the Muslims call from, this brother amongst each other, and they say they are from the same Abrahamic religion. This land is, belongs to pagans.
They didn't.
Yeah.
The Christians and Muslims definitely never did that. No.
Okay, I'll take it. I can show you that, but for now, I'll leave it. But you won't be able to show me any examples of
You know what's
persecution
funny?
in India.
You know what's funny? I actually did know about Kuwait. I just totally forgot. Fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, no, allying with Saddam was insane. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck. I'm not an anti-Semite, but I totally get why people vested in this, and from from the defensive, sympathetic perspective of Israel, people just come off as anti-Semitic because the context is so relevant. And so often the framing is used like these poor Palestinians, they're being brutalized by Israel, and they have been for this long. And even I still think there is truth to that, because I think in conflicts like these, the true victims are just like regular people. But at the same time, within those conflicts, I do know that, like, for example, the terrorism against the Jewish immigrants there has been there since like the 1920s. Like, everyone thinks it starts in 48, but it like goes all the way back to like 1920s. And so, and it got expedited after the partition plan, the 6-Day War. But then you even remind me though that the PLO got kicked out of Jordan. I knew about them getting kicked out of Jordan, but it wasn't big on my registry. But them aligning with Saddam was always crazy to me. And it's weird that I just forgot that, because that's fucking relevant. So no, I actually really appreciate you. I get where people are coming from. I think, but again, all that being said, still to this day, and Norm, hopefully you're done eating now. I'm not seeing that this has been debunked, that kids are being shot in line waiting for food in Gaza. And I think maybe it's gotten to the point where there's a fever pitch of hatred. Maybe that, and that would be an honest thing, but like denying it's not gonna help.
Well,
right?
you made it sound like it was deliberate, and then you showed a case where then you claimed that there was some kind of an accident. So it's like you're deliberately seizing something.
That's what the idea is.
Well, that's not a defense. That's the BBC reporting the facts. So, yeah, there are riots there, and I believe the riots are being instigated by Hamas. Hamas is dependent on UNRWA, which is completely infiltrated UNRWA, the United Nations Relief Works Agency, which is created entirely for one reason, to perpetuate this idea of Palestinian refugees. And by the way, I worked for the UN High Commissioner on Refugees, Antonio Gutierrez, who is now the Secretary General of the United Nations. So all refugees on the planet are handled by the High Commissioner on Refugees, except for Palestinians, because they have an entirely different definition of refugee. That is to say that refugee status is inherited from generation to generation. That's true with no other refugees. They're not really refugees. So, Hamas and UNRWA are working hand in fist against Israel, which is obviously a violation of the UN Charter, and they have disrupted the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which was created by America and Israel to keep the food, to keep the humanitarian aid, which, by the way, Israel's paying for, out of the hands of Hamas. Because that's what Hamas uses, A, to make money by selling it to the Palestinian people, and B, to feed and pay their terrorists. So that's what's going on there.
Norm, is it true with that, what A said, that the Christians and the Muslims were saying that they're one because they're from the same Abrahamic religion?
I don't know. I don't know that one. I didn't hear it.
What do you think about Trump coming out yesterday and admitting that the bad movers in Israel are starving Gaza, and that
He didn't say that. He said, I don't know what. No, he didn't. He said, I don't know what's going on here, but those kids look hungry. That's what he said.
He said that no, he didn't say they look hungry. He said that they were starving, and it was clearly.
No, he said they look hungry from the picture.
We can just
he
pull
said
it up.
starving.
Find the quote.
Perfect. It's not a quote. It's a piece. It's
not
a piece. No, it's not a quote. It's a video that you could hear him speaking directly. He uses the word starvation.
That's what a quote is.
Yeah,
Hold on, right? But I'm not saying pull up the quote. I'm saying pull up the actual audio of him speaking.
Well, go listen to it.
Right, and he uses starvation. He admits that they're starving. That's why he's like, we're gonna get them.
Just go. Listen, I'm not. I'll
okay,
listen
all right, I'll get it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Israel delivered 2 million tons of aid, and by the way, nobody in a war is obligated to feed their enemy, and the exceptions to the flow of humanitarian aid are the following. Number one, if the enemy can use it for an advantage, which Hamas was doing, and B, if the enemy can steal it, which Hamas was doing, which is why it was legitimate to not allow the aid to flow to Hamas and to come up with an alternate system. First, we tried that floating bridge, which kind of failed. That was America. If you remember, we spent a fortune on that, by the way. We also tried airdropping the aid in. In fact, right now, again, we're airdropping aid in by parachute. There's no attempt to starve people. The attempt is to keep Hamas from stealing the food. And we're allowed to deprive Hamas of food.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go out because the talk. I can't listen to the video. I'll come back. But also.
All right.
Clearly, it's not. You cannot do it because that's why Trump is saying you can't starve people indiscriminately. It violates.
I said anybody was starving. I said we don't have to feed our enemy.
Right. Exactly. Okay, and there are 4 specific rules of the Geneva Convention that talk about how you're right, and so they're violating that. Right,
no,
and they're
violating
all 4. Okay, and that's okay. Well,
Israel has provided 2 million tons
Trump
of
is
aid.
getting involved. So Trump is getting involved.
Israel has provided 2 million. He doesn't like when things don't look good.
I'll be right back.
That's 1 ton of aid for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. How much do you eat?
Okay, Truth, have you heard of what happened in Hebron in 1570, 1517? You said about 1920s, attacks, isn't it? Do you know what happened in 1517?
You said 1517? No.
Yeah, just Google what happened in 1517, Hebron. So this is not a recent phenomenon as people want you to believe. People will make you believe that before 1948 everything was hunky-dory and everybody was like, everybody was happy and lived next to each other. But pogroms against Jews, minorities, Yazidis, Christians were very rampant in the Arabian Peninsula, and Jews were at the receiving end of most of it all. So this didn't start recently, and definitely not with the Jews.
I'm looking at it right now. Sorry, I lagged out, lagged back in.
Okay.
Occurred the final phases of the Mameluke War.
Okay. See, you don't understand a conflict situation, that too, especially with the Islamic people on the other side. We have got a conflict going on in the northern side of our country, which is called Kashmir. Okay. It's a majority population there, majority Muslim population in 4 districts, 4 or 5 districts. When the soldiers go in there, the children will throw stones at the soldiers. Okay. Spit on them. Okay. Try to harm them. Inside them. So when the soldiers retaliate, if they retaliate, it is caught on camera. It is broadcasted and hyped up and broadcasted all around the world. So your leaders, the Western leaders, high on human rights, will condemn it, but they will never condemn the parents who are sending these children to, throw stones at soldiers.
Listen,
You can see the same thing in Gaza.
respectfully, we don't need anybody coming in here shitting on our nation. We know our own problems here, and we don't need anybody from anywhere else trying to tell us about our government. We're the only ones that can criticize our government.
Thing is, the governments
I don't give a shit.
Interfering in all. That's a problem.
I don't give a shit.
So I have to. You can say that if it is your internal matter, that's not a problem. But if they are interfering in our matters, then we have a right to talk, isn't it? So this is the problem. Now your own governments, especially in the European governments, are doing the same thing with their own citizens. What they are doing? They are importing this third world, people who are very violent, who will never integrate. Other people are crying. See, what happens in other parts of the world, it will eventually affect you. If your leaders are going to support the human rights and freedom of the terrorists, eventually in your own country, they will support them against you.
Okay, well, worry about
We always had a problem with it. So, what I was saying is, when you deal with Islamist, it's a totally different story. It's not like a normal person. They'll try to fix you in any way possible. And the media and the foreign governments, they all interfere in it. That's the truth.
Okay, I got it. Are you guys ready to hear the...
Make sure Norm's there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, here we go.
You know, they tend to forget it, but they can't forget that was one of the most evil things I've ever seen. And you just cannot forget that. So we're very much involved. The Prime Minister's involved. I'm involved. We're going to set up food centers, and we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people. And we're going to supply funds. And we just took in trillions of dollars. We got a lot of money. And we're going to spend a little money on some food. And other nations are joining us. I know your nation's joining us. And we have all of the European nations joining us. And others also called, and they want to be helpful. So we're going to set up food centers and where people can walk in and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences, and they can't. They see the food from 30 you would say yards away, and they see the food. It's all there, but nobody's at it because they have fences set up that nobody can even get it. It's crazy what's going on over there.
What if I told you learning AI could change your life? Let's be real. Most people
No word starvation.
Hold on. It's coming. It's coming. Starvation's coming. Hold on. I got an ad.
Organization. Right. You talk about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation or recognized aid agencies. How will this work?
Well, it's going to be working with the United States. Will be helping with the food. We have a lot of access to food. We got a lot of food ourselves. And we're going to bring it over there. We're also going to make sure that they don't have barriers stopping people. You've seen the areas where they actually have food. And the people are screaming for the food, and they're 35, 40 yards away, and they won't let them because they have lines that are set up. And whether they're set up by Hamas or whoever, but they're very strict lines, so we have to get rid of those lines. But we're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it.
Oh, what's it? It's real starvation stuff. I see it.
Some of those kids, it's real starvation stuff. Okay.
Yeah, real starvation stuff in the way that you said. Right.
So
he's blaming Hamas for it.
Even more involved. We did
He's blaming Hamas.
Come on, El Normal, we're not idiots.
Blame Hamas.
It's a political.
Wait a second. Go back 2 lines. He said Hamas is doing it.
Hold on, El Normo. You think that we're fools? We're not idiots.
I do think you're a
He's
fool.
the commander-in-chief. He has to tread lightly, right? He's not going to demonize.
If we blame
He's not
Hamas,
going to demonize Netanyahu, okay? So
he blamed Hamas. He keep going.
He didn't blame Hamas.
He
He
blamed
said, well,
Hamas
whoever
for the
is doing it.
starvation of
It
the
was
kids, and we're going to
okay,
give
stop
them food.
pretending like you don't know this isn't fucking politics. This
He
is so
blamed
dishonest.
Hamas, and
He
he's going to
didn't
give
blame
them food.
Hamas. We have Israeli professors
I agree
doing
with him.
geospatial data set.
I agree with him that he's...
Israeli
You're getting
Jews
upset
are
now.
Jews from Israel.
You're getting
that
upset.
It is the Gaza humanitarian
Thank you for blaming Hamas. I agree with
right
you.
out of fucking Israel. Her data.
I thank you for blaming Hamas. I agree with you.
Real Jews.
Thank you for blaming Hamas.
We're just trying to get clear what he said. Wait, what are you doing, baby? We're trying to be clear on what Trump said. Okay, so it seems like Trump did say starvation. Now, we don't know who he's saying is responsible for the starvation.
Yeah, well, he said Hamas.
Some kids are...
Play it again.
He said Hamas. He said, or whoever. He did say Hamas or whoever. So, I mean, you know...
Yeah. He's not saying Israel. He's saying Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Okay, what else? I want to hear more.
Then don't talk over it so we can all hear it. She doesn't need a narrator.
No, we interrupted to talk about starvation.
Okay.
She stopped it and submitted starvation.
All right, I'll play. Here we go.
No, I want to hear some more. Go ahead. Play more.
I've conceded on a lot of points.
We're going to give them food.
By Hamas or whoever, but they're
Or whoever.
so we have to get rid of those lines.
Wow.
We're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can...
Good, strong food. I agree.
Some of those kids
as long as it doesn't go to Hamas.
Starvation stuff. I see it. Restrict lines, so we have to get rid of those lines. But we're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can save a lot of people. Some of those kids are... That's real starvation stuff. I see it. And you can't fake that. So we're going to be even more involved. We did some airlifts before, some airdrops, and the people are running for it. And the Prime Minister is going to help us. They're very effective with that. You've done that before, and for many, they've done that for 100 years.
Israel and the United States beating the Gaza.
It's not very
British Prime Minister.
President Donald Trump telling reporters a humanitarian crisis in Gaza is, quote, one of the main reasons for his meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The two are meeting in this moment.
There you go. Do you want to keep going more?
Oh, great. I'm glad you played the clip that blame Hamas for the starvation of these people.
No.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I thank you for that point.
Hamas or whoever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are the other evers?
And maybe the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
He definitely didn't. No, you didn't blame that. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is American.
Straight out of the fucking.
He didn't say the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
He would have said Gaza Humanitarian. He would have said Gaza.
Then it would. If he said that, we would be condemning ourselves. Okay, he has to push it off. It can't be.
Good job. Oh, he has to.
Well,
so we have to say starvation too, right?
Come on. Doesn't matter. He
on.
admitted that they're starving.
Yeah, he said Hamas is starving them.
Right. The Moron corridor, the Narazim corridor.
I agree with him. So Hamas is starving these people.
It doesn't matter. You have all of those humanitarian posts right now on.
I think we got to get rid of Hamas.
You have to, right. I mean, it's crazy.
We got to get rid of Hamas.
Well, you don't agree that Hamas is the big reason why they're starving?
I'm on the same
That's still correct. Even if we accept what Trump said, I think we can all agree that the primary reason why Palestinians are starving right now is because of Hamas.
I can't. Well, yes and no. I'll say this in that they're. Look, here's what I'll say. Hamas
direct and indirect, by the way. By direct, by hoarding aid, and indirect by stopping aid being able to be pushed in there because people are scared that they're going to steal it.
Yeah,
directly and direct.
Yeah, of course, because Hamas is often scapegoating Israel, but I think the IDF, and I think the IDF often scapegoats Hamas because it's come out now that the UN.
Where are you getting this from?
It's come out. Hold on. Well, I can get a link in the chat, but it's come out that the UN. Okay, it's come out that the.
Illegal to be this dumb. Like seriously, it should be. We should all take IQ tests.
I don't even know what the fuck you could possibly.
Wait, hold on. Why are you guys talking at the same time? A first good pass at an IQ test would be who can have a conversation and who can't. If you guys can't even get through a conversation without talking over each other, I think you guys have failed the first fucking hoop of this IQ.
El Normal, the rest of that clip, I thought it was interesting. So they played a little bit of Netanyahu's speech after he heard Trump say that, and he said there's no starvation in Gaza. There's no starvation policy. You know, that's a bold-faced lie. Basically,
I think Netanyahu knows a lot more about it than Trump, frankly.
And so,
Trump saw some pictures.
Yeah,
Trump goes, looks like there's real starvation stuff going there.
Yeah, you can ask
Bibi
the
is
mafia
actually
how many
involved
people
in
they
feeding
kill,
these
and I'm
people.
sure they'll say they kill nobody. Anyway,
Bibi is the one who's risking the lives of Israelis to feed these people.
Yeah, you could talk about it, but here, so Netanyahu said that. He said they're bold-faced lies. Trump responded to that, and he said, yeah, no, the kids look pretty hungry. That's not something you could fake. Doesn't matter what you say. They're starving. We're gonna.
Bima, I have a question for you. Hold on, everyone. Hold on. Bima, I got a question for you. So, are you aware of the aid that's been stolen by Hamas that was intended to get to the people? Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah, I sure have.
So what do you
I'm not educated on it.
So what do you think of Hamas stealing the aid?
I think that Hamas stealing aid, I mean, what are you gonna do? Right? You're in a war. You don't, if you're not allowing a people to be sustainable, they have no other source. You can't starve out Fourth Geneva Convention. You can't starve people, innocent people, for the sake of that's one of the 4 principles of the Fourth Geneva Convention, Article of
Right, and Hamas is doing it.
It has to be delivered. It has to be delivered with humanity. It has to be indiscriminate. It has to be delivered impartially.
Hold on. Bima, hold on. Listen, let's have a calm conversation. Like we don't have to just hear you crash out every day. Let's just talk about this logically, right? So you have a group of terrorists that decided to attack innocent civilians, kill them, rape them, take hostages. Right?
Yep.
Hey, shut your fucking... Why would someone interrupt me? Like this is the thing. And that was the guy talking about IQ tests. Jesus Christ. So, Bima, you have a group, Hamas, a terrorist group, that was chosen by the people in Gaza to lead them, that attacks innocent civilians, kills, rapes, takes hostages. They still have hostages, 49 hostages. And Israel is going out of their way to be very precise in the targeting that they do. And the same terrorist group is putting their weapons and their enemy combatants in churches, in hospitals, in schools, and they're hiding themselves in violation of the Geneva Convention in regards to human shields. They're hiding themselves like little fucking cowards, and then when innocent civilians are killed, when Israel is targeting the enemy combatants, civilians die. That this is a truism in war, especially in urban warfare. But then now, when we start talking about the resources that are not getting there, there's been many attempts to get resources to the people in Gaza, and the resources are not getting to the people because the same terrorist organization is stealing these resources. And my question for you, Bima, is why don't you, if you're going to be this, because you kind of like trying to find some moral relevancy where, like, okay, both sides are bad. If both sides are bad, and that's where you land, and I don't agree with that. I think that one side is fucking pure evil, and the other side is just the greatest example of a civilized society that mankind's ever seen. But let's say you arrive at your conclusion that both sides are bad. Why is your condemnation so one-sided? Why do you not blame the people in Gaza that are members of Hamas for all of the poverty and the destruction and the death that's happening there? Why do you... I've never heard you put the blame on the terrorist group that is in Gaza. And I'm just... The very terrorist group that is still holding 49 hostages, and these hostages are not the hostages in the traditional sense that you see in war, where you take enemy combatants and you hold them hostages, and then you negotiate the release and that sort of thing. We're talking about taking innocent civilians and holding them hostage, and I have never once in any of these conversations ever heard you condemn them for any of those acts. In fact, all I've heard you do is say how bad Israel is.
So I'm just not going to reply to you. It's being intellectually dishonest. Everybody that was in this room. Wait. Play your game.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. So what you just said was hold on. No, listen. The self-identified retard now wants to speak. So I want to speak to Bima. So Bima wants to be in these conversations. She wants to gaslight people. She wants to make up lies. She wants to take the side of the terrorist. And then when I ask her a simple question, she doesn't want to engage in it. But now what we have is somebody wants to tap in that's a self-identified retard. His words, not mine.
Well, to be fair, you called me a retard, and then I just called myself a retard as a joke, referencing your insult. But yeah, so it's been stated that Benjamin Netanyahu was quoted on the record saying there is no starvation in Gaza, no policy of starvation in Gaza. I assure you, we have a commitment to achieve our war goals. However, there's been a declaration of famine. Various world organizations have all coalesced in agreement.
Really? Could you show us the declaration of famine? I haven't seen that. You want to show us that?
Yeah, I can show you that.
I would love to see it too.
I put 4. Yeah. So there's 4 links in chat.
No, just show us the declaration of famine.
Hold on.
Who declared it? Who declared it?
There's the ISAF, the UN, and WHO have all done that.
No, just start with one. You think the World Health Organization declared a famine in Gaza? Is that what you're claiming?
4 links in chat. I'm
just asking you. Did the World Health Organization the World Health Organization declare famine in Gaza? Yes or no?
Let me get the link again.
You said who? You don't know. Okay.
I really know. I've already put the fucking.
You should read your own links if you don't know. Do you know if? Okay, let's try it this way. Do you know if the World Health Organization declared a famine in Gaza? Do you know? Maybe we don't know.
What's the definition of a famine?
Why are you asking me? You're the one who made the claim.
See, it won't let me put the link. Looks like you said.
All right, so Norman, what the article says is, what does it take for a famine to be declared in Gaza? Gaza hunger crisis. Watch this. Gaza hunger crisis worsens by the day, but it's still not been declared a famine.
Well, holy cow! So it has not been declared a famine.
Hold on.
Truth, you gotta change your name, Truth. Truth, you gotta change your name to falsehood.
Hold on.
Why would I hold on?
Is it this one right here?
Why would I hold on?
This is hold on.
So truth, you get yourself into these situations. Who declared a famine? It wasn't the World Health Organization, I guess. So who did?
Fair enough, but someone did. Hold on. I read 4 articles back to back.
Maybe Hamas. Hold on. Before people beat him up, listen. When somebody acknowledges that they were wrong, we should just move on, because not enough people on this app do this. This is one of the things where I want to compliment Truth. He did something that's very difficult to do, especially in a hostile environment where people are yelling and screaming and whatnot. For him to say, "Okay, I was wrong," I think we could. I think we could just accept that he admitted defeat on that position, and we could.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And it was the IPC. The IPC declared the famine.
The IPC. What does that stand for, IPC?
Insane Clown Posse?
Actually, I'm reading it from this article site.
Okay. All right.
I have to click back. Hold on.
Wait, what are the names of the guys in Insane Clown Posse? Crazy Harry? What are the names again? What are the names of those 2 guys from Insane Clown Posse?
I honestly don't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, they got funny names. Let me see if I can find them.
Norman, here's what it says. Yeah. Worst case scenario of famine is happening in Gaza. Food crisis experts say. It says the integrated food security phase classification said Gaza has teetered on the brink of famine for 2 years.
Shaggy Two Dope. Was it Shaggy Two Dope or was it Violent J? Those are the guys.
Violent J is one.
Maybe it was Shaggy Two Dope.
You're right. Shaggy Two Dope is
I think it was Shaggy Two Dope who declared a famine in Gaza.
No, but that's the issue. Like, all these medias, like, they say, Israel's genocide, famine, and then, like, these are established kind of, like, okay, I take these seriously. And I take it, if you're just a genuine person who's not that tapped into this, and you're just looking at media, then yeah, you would get this idea. But, like I was saying in the chat, yes, they have brainwashed a lot of people. I know it sounds kind of crazy, like, UN, Amnesty, all these, prestigious organizations have been saying lies. Yeah, actually they have, but it's kind of...
What happened to Be Mastered?
She made the choice to not engage. I engaged with her, and she said, "I choose not to engage." So she is welcome to come up if she decides to do that.
Ratchet is weak-minded, Anne.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Oh, she's raised her hand, so we're gonna bring her back up. So now I guess she wants to engage. We'll see if she'll answer my question now. Let's see. Okay, B Master, did you want to reply to what I...
Yeah, none of what you said is true. And moving on.
Oh shit!
The room has been here the entire morning. Everything you said was a lie. What next? What's next?
Oh, well, hold on. B Master, let me ask you this. Do you think that Hamas are the villains in this story?
I think any person who's violated another peaceful person is the villain, 110%.
Got it. So if somebody initiates force like Hamas did, you would agree that the other side you would agree that the other side then has the righteous right of retaliation.
Of course.
There we go. So there's hope for you, but you'll do some mental gymnastics here in a moment, and then just change what you just...
No, I've been consistent, and you won't find any type of inconsistencies in what I've said. I talk about it every day. I'm 110% consistent for whatever reason.
Why do you talk about it every day? Can I ask you this? Well, hold on. Let me ask you this.
Cut me off.
That's fine. I'll accept being bullied. There's worse things to be. You could be disingenuous. You could be a bigot. You could be an anti-Semite. There's a lot of things. B Master, let me ask you this. You don't live in the Middle East. You're not Arab. You're not a Jew. You really don't have anything to do with this conflict whatsoever. There's conflicts going on around the world, by the way, and you just said that you talk about this every day. Can you explain to me, with all the wars that are happening, there's actually more conflicts going on globally right now than any time since World War II. More nations are at war in 2025 than have been since any time since World War II ended. So, B Master, why are you obsessed with the war that involves the Jews?
I think two things could be true. I think that's a logical fallacy to say that because I talk about this and I don't talk about anything else. I talk about what people are talking about, first of all, so I'm responding to that. Two, I think it's notable and it's mentionable and it's something that should be responded to, okay, especially if if the United States is so intimately entwined in the bullshit. But I could also speak on a bunch of other things. You don't have to have one or the other. There's a false dichotomy, but I appreciate your attention.
Could I read an excerpt from this article about the famine in Gaza?
No, you can state this story.
You already conceded to.
I put the link in chat for the second or third time, just because you guys don't give a fuck. And I also have been quoting the link. So.
I've already quoted a bunch of articles.
So anyway, here's what it says. let me get back to the part.
Please
The
don't-
IPC
please don't
warning,
just
according to
reiterate
its
what I
latest
said.
analysis conducted in. Okay, so first, it's important because
On the brink
let me
of
not read
famine.
all of them. Yeah, let me not read all of them because this is one at a time. So Norm, I'm curious because this can contradict something you said.
Okay,
He's
while
just
you
gonna
find
reiterate
what
what
you
I
want
said,
to read.
Norman.
When there are 6 major wars going on in the world right now. Now let's list the one in which children are not dying. And I want to hear. Hang on a sec. I want to hear from all the people in the room who are protesting the children dying in all 6 wars that are happening
Well, this
right
is
now.
very particular.
And that's not
This
the
is
truth.
this has to do with whether or not there's being lies. So on July 25th.
So wait,
the
so
US
there are 6. Hang on a second, Truth. You were looking for your thing, and I started a different topic.
Okay, fair enough.
Hang on just a second. Thank you. So there are 6 wars going on now. So are children not dying in any of those wars? I wonder.
Yeah, Beamer.
Is it possible? Is it possible to have a war in which civilians don't die? Has there ever in the history of the world been a war in which civilians don't die? And is there anybody who can show me one single bit of evidence that Israel is intentionally killing civilians or even allowing them to die?
Yes.
Keeping in mind that Israel is perhaps the only nation that moves people out of war zones before they attack, that spreads pamphlets and knocks on roofs and makes text messages and makes phone calls to civilians in order to preserve their life. Where was there an intentional civilian kill? Somebody said yes. Show us.
So that actually is in reference to what I was about to read. On July
Show us
25th.
okay, go ahead.
On July 25th, the U.S. aid conducted analysis and found no evidence of systemic theft of aid by Hamas.
Okay, we found evidence of that, but that wasn't the question. It seems like you have difficulty with the question.
Well, no,
I have
because
ample. Hang on.
Norman,
Hang
he's
on.
trying to
hang on.
prove his point from like an hour ago.
I
No,
have
it's not
ample
enough.
evidence that Hamas is stealing aid, but the question was very specific. Does anybody have evidence that Israel deliberately killed a civilian?
No.
Okay.
We have snipers who have shot children.
How do you know that?
Okay, so let me get that link.
How do you know that, I think? How do you know that a sniper intentionally shot a kid?
Norman, Hamas told him so.
Oh. Okay.
Let's see.
Do me a favor, do all your looking on mute so that we don't have to hear you.
Well, no, because regardless, hold on, real fast, because this is a deflection from something that contradicted directly what you said.
You already conceded that you were wrong earlier, Truth.
Yeah, we don't want you taking your teeth for you.
Even Roger complimented you and said, "Hey, not too much on this guy because he actually did something that people on Clubhouse usually
that
don't
was
do."
on a different topic.
Concede that he was wrong, and now you're bringing up about food famine and Hamas stealing food and shit. You're still trying to prove your point.
That's not. Whoa, hold on.
You are. You said there's no evidence that Hamas is stealing.
Your framing is just false, and it's kind of frustrating. So, Norman said probably 10 minutes ago, he literally verbatim said that Hamas is causing the disruptions to the food distribution.
100%. 100%.
Okay, so that's a deflection because you just said it was an hour ago, and now you said, of course they did. Did he say that an hour ago or 10 minutes ago?
Well, it's something in between the two, but what's your point?
My point is, I just quoted something from a reputable news organization quoting a U.S. government organization that is contradicting your claim.
No,
Do I have to walk you
evidence.
through this
So
being obtuse? What?
No, not being obtuse. You weren't clear, so you were being obtuse. Yes, there is ample evidence that Hamas is disrupting the distribution of food in Gaza.
Still,
maybe they didn't find any. It's possible that the place that you cited didn't find any, but others have. A lot of it.
So what's the GHF?
The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
And who are the two funders of it?
The United States and Israel.
And the analysis was conducted by a U.S. government agency, and you're telling me
unrelated to the GHF?
Does that matter?
Well, why did you bring it up then? If it doesn't matter.
Are you suggesting that the left ear doesn't know what the right ear is hearing? the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing? Are you trying to tell me a U.S. government doesn't know how to analyze and investigate another?
The burden of proof is on you.
Why would they bother to do something they're ill apt to do?
Who said that they did?
They did. They said we conducted an investigation.
Who said that?
USAID.
USAID, which by the way is not in Gaza, but okay.
They said they conducted an investigation and found no evidence of disruption on the part of Hamas.
So absence of evidence is not evidence of absence.
Exactly. No, what you have to you go link, because I know I've been reading this article. What they say is they haven't found evidence of Hamas because while they found evidence of different gangs and things looting, they can't tell if it's Hamas or not, right? So that is a little slippery. We haven't found evidence of Hamas. We've just found. Click what the it's a quote and it has a link, another hyperlink that goes to the actual article that talks about that. I've read about that. They said we have found no evidence of Hamas. And if you read the article where it says we haven't found evidence of Hamas, it's like, oh, we found evidence of different gangs attacking and stealing food. You don't know if that's Hamas. That could be anyone. It could be anyone. It's like, okay, sure. But yeah,
so your argument is a ragtag group of gangs is causing
No, well, one, I don't know what Norm's argument is. My argument right now is that it is Hamas stealing it, but these people, they don't have systemic evidence. They don't have 4K evidence of Hamas saying, yes, we're Hamas and we're stealing this aid. What they have is a bunch of video proof of Hamas going in and disrupting, shooting at trucks, taking trucks. That's what they have evidence.
I have video of them standing on top of the trucks with their masks on with guns, commandeering the trucks. And shooting at the people who are swarming around it. So there's a video.
No, that's no way. Those
Hold on, Dima.
The Hamas.
There's video of it.
No, Dima doesn't believe on all that.
There's video
No,
of it.
you're.
We've all seen it. I'm sorry.
Truth, would that be sufficient evidence for you to
This is
concede?
the Palestinian. This is who the Palestinians support. They support this. This is what they want, right, El Normo? This is who they support, the people that are killing them and robbing them and helping. But the Palestinians support them.
According to a poll, 70% of the Palestinians supported what they did on October 7th. The brutality, the medieval torture.
Dima, are you saying Stockholm Syndrome is not a real thing?
Truth.
Are you saying that women don't go on dates with bad dudes and then the bad dudes then rape them and murder them?
I'm just going over my head.
It's going over your head that the Palestinians believe that Hamas is doing the right thing for them and Hamas is telling them they're doing the right thing for them, but then they're using them as human shields and starving them to death and stealing their food.
But that's who they support. That's what they want.
That's definitely happening at some level, definitely.
I put it in the chat, by the way, True.
Go ahead, Bima. Blame the victim.
56 incidents of loss or death reported. 60 were attributed to unknown perpetrators.
Wait, hold on. Why is there people speaking over each other? Everyone in here wants to be an expert on what's going on in Gaza, but you guys can't even be experts in how to have a basic conversation. One person can speak at a time. This is just fucking crazy. And I'm just fascinated. I'll be honest. It tickles me pink to learn the high level of confidence and the low level of information that people have that are not tied to this conflict in any way, shape, or form. Some of you have self-identified as, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 meaning you know nothing and 10 meaning you know everything, you've identified as a 4. Yet we're carrying on this conversation as if there's expert knowledge, and then we scramble to find sources that agree with the weird things that we say. Can we just be honest about this? If we're going to be really flat out honest about this, truth, be master. Neither of you Jews, neither of you Israelis. You guys have been spending your entire morning talking to Jews and Israelis, telling them what's going on in this conflict. Don't you feel stupid?
No, she is Italian from Philly,
Logic is a beautiful thing.
I don't even agree with the
Circumstantial
framing.
ad
So,
hominems would tell you,
yeah.
if you knew logic, that a person's geography or their ethnicity is completely irrelevant to the truth value of whatever they're fucking saying. That's how we can have professionals and intellectuals discuss topics like this, Roger. Welcome to Logic 101.
Oh, but making a stupid voice isn't that no mi-
Hold on. Here's Logic 101, okay? If we're going to talk about a conflict and pretend to be an expert, like you and Truth have done, when simple questions are asked, Truth was asked a question earlier, hey, what river? He didn't even know what... He didn't even know what river.
That's a lie.
And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I wish we could all get together. This is my wish. I wish we could all get together and grab a map, erase all of the names of countries, and then let Truth and B-Master fill it out. And I want them to just say, hey, show me on the map two things. Show me on the map where Israel is, and show me on the map this place that you call Palestine. I would guess that they will not come within about a fucking 500-mile radius of identifying it.
You would lose that bet.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I know what you are. I knew, first of all, I was on mute, my phone's overheating, and I'm on the Safari tab.
Oh,
and you're
this
asking
guy
me a
uses this
question.
for everything.
It's not excuse. Okay, no. See, this is what triggers my autism. You know how autistic people, we go into rages? It's shit like that. The disingenuousness of this. So you're gonna tell me, while you're here on your app yourself, that if you're reading a fucking article because someone asked you a question, and then they ask you another question, and you gotta swipe between tabs, go to Clubhouse, and hit the unmute button. There's not a fucking delay.
Truth.
Okay.
Listen. I'll take your advice and I'll go fuck myself. But before I do, I just want to get this out. There are people on the stage that live in Israel. There's people on the stage that used to live in Israel. There's people on America. Hold on. There's people on the stage that plan. Hold on. There's people on the stage that plan on returning to Israel. And what's interesting to me is that the two people claiming to be experts on this subject are Truth and Bima, who have A, never been to the region, B, don't plan on going to the region, and C, have zero fucking scholarship on this whatsoever. When it comes to this issue, B-Master, I knew her on this app before October 7th. And what was interesting about this is that B-Master never spoke about the Middle East. Then all of a sudden this conflict comes up, and overnight, she's not the only one, by the way. I don't know if you guys remember Sella. She was somebody that would go in and talk about, all kinds of nonsense. And then October 7th happens, and she became an expert. Everyone, it's the same people that were COVID experts. Now they're experts on world history, specifically pertaining to the history of Israel. And that if you talk about any warfare, they're experts on strategy. They're experts on geopolitics. You guys are experts at everything. It's fucking amazing how smart you guys are. The problem is that you guys have no humility, and you don't understand how ignorant it sounds when you have a high level of confidence and a low level of information.
Hey, Truth, I have a simple question for you. We can figure this out.
I gotta reply to what you just said. Because I reject the framing. A, I never presented myself as an expert. B, Clubhouse is literally a place where people shoot the shit and talk about the news.
Truth, are you familiar with this conversation?
Respectfully, because you hear me replying, right?
About Israel, Gaza.
I'm trying to speed bullet through it, too. A, never presented myself as an expert, neither did B. B, and by the way, no one here is an expert just because they're Jewish. That's a ridiculous... I love you to say that. I love you to say that because when I go and find a Holocaust survivor who agrees with us, will you just shut the fuck up? Anyway,
Hold on. This is interesting, right? So this is exactly the point. You just said, if I go find a Holocaust survivor that agrees with me, will you shut the fuck up? I'll tell you this. You can go find. Here's a challenge to you, Drew. Go find yourself. Bring a Holocaust survivor onto this app, because I can produce one on this app. We can produce one on this app today, right? That will come in here and we'll talk to you about this. Can you produce a Holocaust survivor to jump on a club?
87-year-old Holocaust survivor says stop the genocide.
No. That's not the question. I will bring one onto Clubhouse that you can speak to directly. No, your point doesn't. No, your point doesn't stand. Your point doesn't stand. Here's the thing. No, your point doesn't stand. Your point doesn't stand. I'm gonna explain something. Well, why are you interrupting me? Is this the retard thing again? Like I was speaking. Shut the fuck up. Okay, I want to just make something clear. If I go and eat at a Mexican restaurant, and I've had their chili relleno, and I've had their pollo de crema, and I've had their carne asada plate, and if I've had their nacho fries, I can talk about the things that I've experienced much better than the people that have never stepped foot into that restaurant, that have never ordered the food, that have never engaged with the wait staff, that have never talked to the owner of the establishment and mingled with the patrons and took in the ambiance of the establishment. All I'm suggesting is that it's fucking weird to me, it's very fucking weird to me, to see people that have this crazy obsession. You have a crazy obsession with Jews. I want to ask you this. I'm going to pivot away from the Jews for a second. My apology to the Jews on this stage. It's not always about you. Let me just ask you this. Of the other conflicts, because there's more conflicts going on, more nations are at war right now than any. Shut the fuck up. Yes. I'm gonna. Well, first of all, you're not gonna interrupt me. Like, not only do you have autism, but you also have Tourette's. You need to get those things checked. So I want to finish this. More nations are at war right now than any time since World War II, and the only conflict that they're obsessed with is the one involving the Jews. So, the retard crashed out. Let me ask Bima, what other global conflicts are you knowledgeable about?
It's a logical fallacy again, but I mean,
hold on, listen. I asked you a simple question. Okay, I don't know what you're doing. Listen, sugar tits, you're not in chillism, you're in the muff. So you're gonna do things my way. So I'm gonna ask you again, what other global conflicts that are happening right now are you aware?
if I answer that, which I will, what does that prove?
Well, I would like to ask, hold on.
If I can give you five conflicts, explain everything that you need to, I'll go into details as much as possible. What will that prove to you? What will that prove?
Well, you're buying time for the chat GPT queue, but my question to you was to simply ask you, what other conflicts do you consider yourself highly knowledgeable of? Tell me one that doesn't involve Jews.
Well, I am admittedly extra invested in this particular conflict.
And because why?
Because it's close to me, and because it just people, time, circumstance, location. It's been an ongoing conflict for a while. I have not just started talking about it October 7th. This is a long, I went to school, I went to college, I studied about it then, I was very passionate about it then, and interesting enough, the people who actually know me and have heard me speak about it before October 7th.
I can attest you never talked about that.
I didn't even know.
Hold on. Biba, you missed the question. The question was, what conflict right now, with more nations being at war since any time since World War II, what conflict that doesn't involve the Jews are you highly knowledgeable about?
None.
I'm not as knowledgeable about any other conflict. I would say I would just be average. One in specific, the Kenyan situation outside of Nairobi and specifically with their civil war. So I have personal ties to that situation, specifically Kenya.
Amazing. Hold on. Hold on. Let's pause there. Has anyone on this stage or in the chat ever heard Bima talk about the conflict in Kenya?
No.
Anyone?
And anyone here all the time.
Anyone? Okay, got it. So this other conflict that you're personally attached to and you've got all this information about, you've never spoken about that, but you spend every day, those were your words, talking about the conflict that involves the Jews. This obsession that you have with Jews, this obsession that you have with Jews. I am a bully. I own that. I am a bully. I own that. I'm a bully. That yes, guilty as charged. But what the fuck are you gonna do? Bullies don't care. If I wasn't a bully, if I was a bully and you were able to do something about it, right? Then you would also you would have more flexing power here. I'm calling you out, and I am using the bully pulpit. I agree. Yes, I am a fucking asshole when I'm a moderator. But you know what I'm also good at? Pointing out when somebody is LARPing as interested in this conflict when they really just hate Jews. Because if you really cared about all these conflicts, because your position is, I don't like when anybody exercises their dominion against another innocent person using force or coercion. I stand against that. But yet, a personal conflict that you're attached to in Kenya, which I don't believe, by the way, you claim that you're attached to that, and yet you've never once brought it up. And the point is, you don't give a fuck about any of these people. The only thing you care about is disparaging. First of all, I don't disparage Jews. I disparage bad people. The topics, I don't control the topic. If we would like to move to the topic of Kenya and the Kenyan civil war and what's going on over there, I'd be more than happy to do that. You can look in my bio, and I have links supporting it. Okay, understand? There's radio shows that I go on regularly with Jafi Kabui, who's a Kenyan radio station, okay, and they talk about it all the time. So yes, listen, it doesn't matter. If you want to talk about that, we can talk about it. Most people don't really care about that. Most people are talking about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, okay, most of the time, because most of the people on this app are American, and there are a lot of ties. All the policies are overflowing and they're affecting real people real time.
Can I just answer the reason that I believe Bima has such an issue with Israel?
I don't think she cares about black people.
I don't have an issue.
Well, Norman, I can explain why she does. Listen.
Good at the German. She's good at speaking German. By the way, I posted video in the chat. It's a few posts up there of the Gazans protesting in the streets against Hamas, telling them to get out and complaining that they're stealing aid. Big story about it. There's more though. I also have video of them stealing aid. It's been going on the whole time. And the way that the USAID, who I guess is no friend of Israel, gets around it, I saw is they say, well, aid's being stolen, but we can't figure out who's doing it. That's one thing that they said. So that they admit the aid is being stolen. And then they use the word systemic. They said Hamas doesn't seem to be doing it systemically, which implies that they're doing it some other way in a sort of a random or sporadic or stochastic way.
Just real quick, Roger, I got a question for you. Just for clarity, because I know that you shit on lived experience all the time. why does lived experience matter in this one? Like when you said, and this isn't to pick a side, but just for consistency reasons, like when you say, oh, we have people on the stage that have lived in Israel, that have been to Israel, etc., that know what it's like over there, blah, blah, blah. Since when does lived experience matter now?
Yeah, it's a fair question, and so what we're getting at is just how low the information is and how high the confidence is from those that are obsessed with Jews. We asked these people that pretend to be experts on this, when we ask them questions like, when they say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, what river are they referring to? When they can't answer that question, they don't really belong speaking about it. What they should be doing is listening to people that have knowledge of the subject. And this is the fucking craziest thing about Clubhouse. I was in a room a couple of days ago, Chillism. Chillism, by the way, is the bottom barrel fucking of intellect on this entire app. I was in that room, and there was two guys in the room. One was named Concrete. The other guy's name was Ike. I don't know if you guys know these retards.
Retards, yeah.
Hold on. They went on a 45-minute rant arguing about who knew Hegel better. I was listening to it, and I could decipher pretty quickly that neither of these guys know what the fuck they're talking about. So I got on the stage and I started interrogating them a little bit. And I didn't have the bully pulpit. I was in chillism where everybody just talks over each other. Fucking, it's like, it's like the subway. And I got them to admit. Now, the one thing I will credit them is they admitted after 45 minutes of arguing with each other about who understood Hegel better. I got them to acknowledge that neither of them had ever read Hegel.
Did they know anything about determinate negation?
All they kept doing was repeating thesis, antithesis, synthesis.
So they don't know this phenomenology.
They have no fucking clue what they're talking about. And when I pointed out here, when people like Bima and Truth are speaking, it's the same thing. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And that's the fucking thing that annoys me most. If you wanna participate in this conversation about Israel, Palestine, what I would do is I would go and find somebody like Sasha, who's a historian. And Sasha doesn't sugarcoat shit. If you want to talk about like what's happened in that region, Sasha, I don't know if you guys know Sasha, but you should, because he's the best historian on this app. But they don't do that. What everyone seems to want to do that hates Jews is they get on the stage and then they go and find information that will back up a narrative that helps them to throw shade on Jews. And when you start questioning them, you start realizing just how little they know about it. It's an obvious one when you point out that they don't know what river, what sea. But it's more obvious when you start asking them about a timeline of events. And when they start saying, hey, Palestine should have a state, it's like, wait a minute, you guys are saying that Palestine is a state, and then they argue or they ignore the fact that true statehood has been offered 7 fucking times, and the Arab nation said, no, we don't want that. We'd rather go to war with you. And so the warmongers are clearly on one side. Israel's the only country in that region that has maintained, we just want to live here peacefully. We want our own nation because, you know what? We've been through hell. There's fucking people that hate us that are on the left, the right, the center. There's all these anti-Semites, and whether it's because you blame them for killing Christ, you guys will come up with it, whatever reason that you want to hate the Jews. And it's fucking disgusting. And all I do is point out the fucking facts. Hold on. These ignorant motherfuckers. Why don't you just be honest? I would have so much more respect. I wouldn't like it, but I would have much more respect if they just came up on the stage and said, I fucking hate Jews. Because that's what they really fucking want to say. They just know that in polite company and, you know, a mixed crowd, that's not going to be the message. But you catch these fucking lunatics in their own space, that's exactly what they fucking say.
Oh, don't worry.
So,
Bubby's about to do so. Go ahead.
I'm not about to do so. Look, first of all, I'm going to acknowledge that I don't know shit about this conflict. I'll be the first one to say so. Like I'm not gonna act like I'm a fucking expert on this or know fucking everything when I don't. I'm just asking questions for clarity or for just clarification based off other conversations I've had. That's
How do you know with your limited knowledge? How do you feel about the conflict?
My limited knowledge is that there's a lot of fucking people getting killed over there over a whole land conflict, I guess, and that's pretty much about it. I know October 7th happened. I know
Do you think Israel's justified in their actions? Do you think Israel's justified in their actions?
I think Israel should have a right to defend itself, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think every country has the right to defend itself. Again, I don't know the exact intricacies or extents as to what every single side of this conflict has done in regards to how they've defended themselves, right? So I'm not going to speak as to, do I think how Israel's defended themselves is justified, et cetera, because I don't know how they have. So I'm not going to say if it's justified or not, et cetera, on that. Like I'm not going to speak the things that I don't know.
I would just like to say, Bubby, I respect that greatly, and that's exactly what Bima should have done.
But I guess my next question would kind of be, Roger, you had said something along the lines of that the Jews had been through so much shit, people from the left, right, center hate them, and all that kind of stuff, right? And that would be kind of a justification as to why they need to have their little state. So would that also be applied to like any other marginalized group of people that gets hated from all centers or all aisles? Would they also be entitled to that for the same reasoning or no? And I'm not asking, and by the way, let me make it clear, I'm not asking this because I don't think Israel should be a state, et cetera, because again, I don't know shit about that either. I'm just asking for consistency reasons.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of groups that have a particular identity that they like to cling to, that make arguments for statehood. You got to remember that this particular piece of land that we're talking about, the historical homeland of the Jews, has had pretty much every empire run through there, and it's a reality that when you have, back when the age of empires, if you had the might, you would go in and you would take over. What we got lucky in is that after World War II, well, first of all, after World War I, empires were dead. The idea of nation states taking over and empires being gone was in motion. And after World War II, that was like the final piece of that. And so when you look at the Ottoman Empire that was defeated by the British take over this area. After World War II, the British decided, okay, we're going to give this land back to people that are living there. And they understood that there was some complexities to this because not all of the people in the region want to be in one place. Although you could clearly look at the history, they got along better then than they do right now. The British mandate, if you go back to 1947, there was a couple of different things that could have happened with Jews. And believe me, if anybody wants to challenge me on this, I'm happy to talk about the history of this. There's a lot of things that could have happened, but after World War II, the Jewish people decided, you know what, never again. What we need is our own place where we can have our country, we can have borders, we can have a government that's just, we can get a military that will police us, and we will create a civilization that is great. And what they did in this creation of statehood, they made it a place where people were welcome that weren't Jewish. People that aren't Jews are serving in the Knesset. You're welcome to be in Israel as long as you're not a terrorist, right? And so Israel is very, very welcome to people that are not Jewish, and that's a historical fact. But when you think about in 1947, the idea of this, look, the Jews are going to return to their historical homeland. They're going to have the state of Israel, and then it gets ratified, and statehood happens on May the 14th of 1948, right? Mm-hmm. But hold on. The very next day, the Arabs declare war on them. And what's sad about that is that during those conversations that were happening in 1947 and through till May of 48, the Arabs could have had a state. They could have called it Palestine. They could have called it whatever they wanted. They could have had their own state. And instead of having statehood and being able to build a country and be able to have civilization, be able to take care of their civilians, be able to enact whatever ideas they want within their borders, they had the opportunity to do that. And what was more important to them than statehood was their hatred for Jewish people, and they did not want Jewish people to exist anywhere in this land. And so what we have is a genocidal commitment from some people in that region to not just destroy Israel, but to make sure that Jews don't exist. And by the way, if you're not Jewish and you're wondering, well, what the fuck's this got to do with me? They're very clear about one thing. When they're done with the Jews, they're coming for you too. They're coming for you too. And if you guys want to challenge me on the history of this, I am fucking game for this. I will ping people in here that are actual historians that will co-sign on all of the things that I have just said, that will back up all of this, and the only opposition that we seem to get to the truth are from people that have no clue. They woke up on Clubhouse one day, sometime a few days after October 7th, heard people talking about this, and then decided, oh fuck, I'll run the other playbook. I'll go ahead and argue devil's advocate, and I don't even believe they're all Jew haters. Like, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think B-Master hates Jews. I think what she's comfortable with, though, is repeating the tropes that people that hate Jews repeat, which makes her a useful idiot. But
just real quick, I guess my two questions onto what you just said for clarification is, one, what would be your definition of a terrorist? And two, how would you identify one just based off eyesight and not based off information files or prior knowledge of who the person is? You don't want terrorists in your country.
Yeah. So terrorists are those that use violence and threats of violence to achieve their political goals, and that's by definition what a terrorist is. Now, in terms of identifying who they are, I would think that the intelligence community within Israel and within the West in general would do a very good job of identifying who these people are. This is why when the terrorist beepers were going up, giving a whole new meaning to the term blowing up my pager. You didn't see these in the pockets of civilians. These were not shopkeepers whose beepers blew up. These were terrorists. That was one of the most genius things that I've ever seen happen, where there was a very specific tactic used to target and destroy terrorists.
But I do have one little question on that, and then if that same intelligence agency that you would say would do a good job identifying them, what do you think went wrong for them to be able to have the strength or the ability to identify them coming into Israel, but couldn't identify the October 7th attack incoming?
I think there was security failures, and I think everybody in Israel would acknowledge that. Defending your homeland is something that requires 24/7 vigilance. There was definitely definitely some mistakes made. What I can also say as an American is that you can have the mightiest military, the best intelligence in the world, and if you have a committed enemy, they can wreak havoc on you. And so this is why there's a committed effort now to take these terrorist groups out. If you look at what the declared goals of the war are, it's to end Hamas and it's to free the hostages. So if you think about that, right? If somebody's saying they don't like what the IDF is doing, what they're saying is that they disagree with the goals of the war. The goals of the war are to free hostages and to end a terrorist group. And so then you get people like B-Master that come in here that want to make you feel that that somehow these guys are freedom fighters. It's fucking crazy.
So the only thing that I would say is don't listen to 95% of what Roger says about me. If you're curious about my personal views, please ask, because 95% of what he says is just
Okay, Bima, is Hamas a terror organization?
Of course. Hamas is a terrorist organization. If any person has harmed other innocent, peaceful people, yes, absolutely. Okay. However, I will also say that that's the question. That's the real question. Historically, did October 7th happen in a vacuum? No, we know that. We know. You could ask Israeli Harvard professors, Jews who write on this topic, who I'm sure don't have great information about all the other topics and conflicts of the world because their main focus is one particular topic. Okay, but I digress. So anyway, my challenge to the Palestinian not being a people and all this other stuff, what El Normo said earlier, he said that when I had mentioned that the Arab Congress was asking the British multiple times for them to be able to have their own nation state, and it was rejected over and over and over. El Normo said, no, well, you know what? There wasn't even a Palestinian at the Arab Congress. And I looked it up. I am reading through the actual papers, the actual reports given and presented to Winston Churchill, the report of the state of Palestine, presented to the Right Honorable Mr. Winston Churchill by the Executive Committee of the Third Arab Palestine Congress. This is in 1920. Okay, the people that represented, they were all not only Arab, they were families living there. Some of them were also Muslim Christians, okay, but they were all people of their places that they've listed were Gaza, let me see, Jaffa.
Can I cut you off for a second?
There were multiple areas within Palestine that they came from. So there was absolutely people that were from Palestine. They were the ones who wrote that specifically to Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill.
Okay, we get that. Let you all respond to you.
So, go ahead.
We've been through it. There was a place called Palestine. It was a region, not a country. So, are you aware of the fact that they have been offered statehood in 1947?
Oh, we're not talking about 1947. We're talking about, I reversed, because, 1947 is something different. We're talking about, because listen, you can't use the same argument of, let me see. Earlier, El Normo said all of the nations like Pakistan and Greece, all of these nations were formed in the 20th century, just like Israel. If you were to say that, you can say the exact same thing for the people of Palestine, who considered themselves Palestinian long before 1948, who referred to themselves as Palestinians. In their congresses, in their newspapers, how they operated, it had the Palestinian pound on their own currency. It was in their currency long before, in the early 1900s, 1906 to 1917, long before this, okay? And this is my claim. The British rejected and would not allow them to become a people. Now I'd be happy to hear why Winston Churchill continuously denied, why they denied the Arabs specifically, okay? Why they said, no, sorry, you cannot have a statehood, you cannot become...
What year are you talking about? What year?
anything during the Arab Congress. So the first, second, or third Arab Congress. So you could respond. I mean, you could look at any of the official Churchill white papers where they responded, where Churchill responded specifically to the Arab Congress, where he has. I mean, just go look it up. He says very specifically why he is denying.
Go look it up. She just learned about it.
Right. Absolutely, 110%. I've been.
It's actually funny, but there was actually no formal.
3 hours and reading through the entire.
There was no formal offer of an independent Palestinian Arab state made specifically by Churchill anywhere. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hold on, wait. Say that again.
There was no formal offer, okay, of an independent Palestinian Arab state made specifically by Churchill anywhere. I don't know what you're talking about.
It wasn't. No, you gotta listen. It wasn't.
That's what you said.
It wasn't.
You said he declined them of having a statehood. That's what you said.
Yes, he did. That's
but
correct.
there was no formal offer of independent Palestinian Arab state specifically even made by him. So how would he even decline it if there was no formal offer even made?
Yes, it wasn't made by him. It was made by the Arab Congress. It was specifically.
You said it was rejected by Churchill. That's what you did. Anybody else hear that correctly? Because that's what I heard.
That's exactly what she said.
That's what she said. That's what she said. Bima will never walk back. She'll never walk back when she says something silly.
Roger,
well, Roger, she's just now on the fly.
I want to be honest.
ChatGPT is explaining everything to her right now.
What I'm trying to communicate is that the third we were talking about.
Name 3 of the kibbutz.
Roger, please, Rich. We're talking about the Arab Congress. That's what I had brought up to El Normo, where he said that no Palestinian was a part of the Arab Congress. So then I went to go read it, and so I read the reports. One is a report of the state of Palestine presented to Winston Churchill by the Third Arab Congress. Jerusalem.
You needed extra acting already.
Why is it that whenever we're talking about real stuff, everyone else crashes out?
You're crashing out.
Hold on.
I can offer the information and respond.
Bima, I got a question. Scale from 1 to 10. What do you rank your expertise on Israel? 1 meaning you know nothing, 10 meaning you know everything. Where do you rank yourself?
Roger, let me ask you a question.
This is a simple one.
Hold on.
This is a simple one.
I'm going to.
This is a simple one. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, I'm not PTR.
Assess the truth value of what I'm saying.
Bima, I'm asking. Bima, hold on. Bima.
You're dishonest, Roger.
No, I'm asking you a question. How can a question be dishonest? How can a question be dishonest? I'm asking you a simple question. Why are you crashing out? 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 Okay, got it. I'm gonna ask you a question. And I want you to engage in good faith here. Scale from 1 to 10. Where do you rank your expertise on Israel?
Roger,
hold on. 1 meaning you know nothing, 10 meaning you know everything. Where do you rank yourself?
Notice as soon as the topic gets interesting,
I'm asking you a simple question. It's a simple. Hold on. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that was a.
This is the type of thing that Roger forget real factual information.
Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that Bima is dodging a very fair question. Just put a 1 in the chat if you thought the question was fair and that she's dodging it. Bima, now go ahead and look at the chat, and now I'll ask it again. Scale from 1 to 10. 1 meaning you know nothing, 10 meaning you know everything. Where do you rank yourself when it comes to your knowledge of Israel?
I wouldn't know. I'd have somebody else rank me.
Okay, well I'll rank you a 2. At least you know it exists. So I'll give you a 2. I would just advice for everyone on every topic. If you're not listen, you can comment whether you're an expert or not, but I would say that the less that you know, like if you're like B-Master, you should be doing more asking of questions to gain knowledge and do more research to gain knowledge than to sit here and pontificate as if you know fucking everything. It makes no sense. You make no sense, B-Master. You make no sense.
Right. More dishonesty. So I was talking to El Normo earlier, and I always say that any communication, anything that I say, if you have a better information to counter whatever I'm saying, I'm open to it. Just like El Normo. El Normo actually engages in fucking critical thinking, unlike Roger, who likes to just put a logical fallacy, slap a logical fallacy in absolutely everything, deflect, make sure that you don't talk about the actual shit, lie on you, inflame the conversation. It's total trash. No, it's total trash, and it's dishonest, okay? It's complete trash. El Normo and I had this discussion earlier. So what did I do, Roger? I got the fucking information and I read it. I just spent the past 3 hours reading through several one was 64 pages, one's 100 pages, the other one was 38 pages, okay? Reading through the information, and then I come back to say, okay, well, now I have more information, let's talk about it. Looks like you're wrong. I could have just ChatGPT'd and got a quick answer to say, oh, hey, what do you say? And then go back and say, oh, normal, I just ChatGPT'd it. I just ChatGPT'd it, and it looks like you're wrong. What did I do? I wanted to get the actual evidence. I wanted to read through it, to be objective, and that's what I so then when I do it, of course, go read. You don't know.
Why you're single, Roger? Hold on. Dima, just another question for you. You can decide if you want to answer or not. You're not really doing the whole question and answer thing right now, but I'm genuinely curious what time the afternoon pill. What time do you typically take it?
She's gonna do some research on that and get back.
Okay, that's good. Look, a good old-fashioned mood stabilizer would probably bring a lot of relief.
Great way to deflect from a great conversation. You guys are just.
I'm trying to get clear on what your claim is. Is your claim at the area Congress? They were like, we're gonna have a Palestinian state, like the indigenous Palestinians that live there. They're going to get a state. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, not that they were going to get a state, but that's what they were advocating for. That's what they got. That's what the Arab Congresses were about, and they were asking the Brits if they could have their self-sovereignty to create their nation state, and they were rejected.
Okay, Bima, so you are right about one thing. There was an Arab Congress, but there wasn't a Palestinian Congress until 1964. You can go check it out.
So the Arab Congress, which I said the Third Arab Congress specifically, they were specifically nothing but Palestinians. They came from 4 jurisdictions. They were Arabs. They were mostly Arabs. There was also some Muslim Christians. It gives it all in the paper. The state of Palestine. This is what I was just referring to earlier.
1964.
1920. Okay, 1920. The specifically, I'll get the name again if that's what you need.
There was no Palestinian Congress before 1960.
Yes, there was. It was called the Third Arab Palestine Congress, 1921. Yes, it was. And yes, it was. It was.
Jews was in it too because Jews were Palestinians too.
It didn't matter. It was a people. Of course, there were, and you could see that in the census of 1922. There were mostly Arabs, but yeah, absolutely, there were Jews. There were also Christians, of course. But the claim was that there was no Palestinians a part of the Arab Congress, and that's clearly false. That was a lie. That's not true. They were nothing but Palestinians. They all came from actual places inside what was considered Palestine.
Syria too, right?
No, Syria, no. Not Jordan, no. They were not.
Of course it was Syria. What are you talking about? You know, the idea of Palestine was, they had the idea of Palestine as the greater part of Syria.
She doesn't know the history. She doesn't know the geography. She's just learning about it.
I was talking about the places that the people of the Congresses came from. And they came from, I found that Jerusalem, Jaffa, Haifa, Nablus, and Gaza. I don't know where Jaffa is. I know where Jerusalem is. I know where Nablus is. I know where Gaza is. Jaffa and Haifa, I don't know where that is. So if that's in, I don't know where.
Haifa is in the north of Israel, and Jaffa is very close to
Is
Tel
that
Aviv.
inside Israel? Is Jaffa and Haifa, is that inside the Israel or is that
That's
somewhere
in
else?
northern Israel.
Okay, so and both of them.
I'm glad you're learning on the fly, Dima.
Rich, do you know? Do you know Jaffa?
Yeah.
Where's that? Where's that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
where is that? Where?
We've already told you, we've already
Where?
asked you,
Oh,
where are the fucking kibbutz? Can you name any of the
Thanks for your not
kibbutz?
help. You're all
You
you
know,
are.
I asked you if you
You're
could
an
name
ankle
any of the
biter.
kibbutz, and
Shut up.
you just
Shut up,
didn't
Rich.
even want to
You're
fucking
an
answer.
ankle biting.
Wow.
You're an ankle biter. Shut up. Anyway, Harry was whoever else was responding to that.
So that's
So
not
those
ad hominem?
Jerusalem, Jaffa. No, of course it's not an ad hom. He just disrupted the conversation to say I didn't know where it was. I asked him to provide the information and then he would provide it. Okay. He's been doing nothing but what are you talking about, Yov? He's been attacking me the entire time. He's not presented a single argument. He's just personally attacked me. Come on, what the fuck? Are you serious?
All right, hold on. We're gonna do a room reset. Listen, we're in the muff. If you enjoy being in the muff, welcome. If you don't enjoy being in the muff, you don't have to be in the muff. Some people don't like the muff. Some people don't want to be in the muff. Gays don't want to be in the muff. You certainly don't have to be in the muff. This is a choice to be in the muff. Bima chooses to be in the muff. I want to ask a few questions. I want to get some other people involved on the stage. I want to just figure out if we can maybe advance this conversation beyond the low information, high confidence people, and maybe get like maybe we'll welcome the lower confidence, high information people to speak. That might be fun. That might be an interesting twist here. I also, before we get started again, does anybody do breathing exercises? Anybody? Is anybody here into that? Ro, I don't know if you're awake. Ann, do you do breathing exercises? Nai, do you? Nai?
Absolutely. Meditation, all that good.
Yeah, can we just lead? I think it might be quite beneficial for at least one person in the room to take some deep breaths and just, maybe just clear the mind. If you could lead us through a deep breathing exercise now, and then we continue the conversation. I think this would be helpful. Bima, please participate in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we all just mute up for a second and just take a deep breath? 4 counts in. Hold it for 4 counts. And release it 4 counts. I would do that 3 times. It might help to close the eyes, so close your eyes. Deep breath in. Hold. Right. Breathe out 4 counts. And repeat if necessary. It does help to close the eyes so you're not distracted visually. Just think of, a cool breeze over the mountains. Just be calm and chill. And if it helps, pop a pill to relax. If breathing is not your thing, or load the bong, take a few hits, and just chill out. Thank you, Roger.
Well, I sure got a lot out of it. I hope others have as well. That was good. I feel much more relaxed. Now that we've relaxed, Bima, go ahead, continue. I think we might have hypnotized her, put her to sleep.
I think her ChatGPT might be.
Well, they generated it.
Of course, I love when the high information people speak.
So, if you're here, of course it would be called the Arab Palestinian because the whole region was Palestine, so it wouldn't be called the Arab Egyptian or the Arab Jordanian or the Arab Syrian because the one has Syria per se. But the Arab Palestinian, what you call the Arab Palestinian, they didn't define themselves as a people, they defined themselves as Arabs. And Jews were also Palestinians, and as you said, Christians were also Palestinians. So your point is mute about the Arab Palestinian Congress. That's what I wanted to say.
I don't think that that's logical at all. You have Herzl writing in 1896 specifically referring to a specific place that is the area, the geographical region of Palestine. Okay, so your argument is
Syria, Jordan, all these places.
Hold on. Herzl writes about it, okay? And the two options were between Argentina and Palestine, okay? Palestine, you know exactly what he was talking about in 1896, okay? You have the people of Palestine had the Palestinian pound written on dollar bills and on coins. There's newspapers, they refer to themselves, the Arabs, I mean, there's just way too much, it doesn't make sense. And if you're going to use the same exact argument of, well, Israel, you know, just like El Normo said, just like every other country in the 20th century had to, you know, this was a process of becoming, then why wouldn't it be the same for the Palestinian people? That's exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to become a sovereign, a nation state, right? But the British, and this was my question to everybody else, to the more intelligent, high IQ people in the room, which I'd like to know more about because, you know, as Roger says, I'm an idiot, low IQ, whatever else. Why did the British decline multiple times the Palestinian people a nation state? For what reason?
They didn't. They gave it to them in 1947 and they declined it. Why did they decline it?
Because they don't want to stay in Israel. They don't want you.
Why did they decline it in 1947? Tell me that.
I'm going to assume it's because they wanted the area, they wanted to fight against, they were nervous about the Zionists taking over the entire region as they wrote in the Jewish state as Herzl wrote.
They want the Jews to be subjugated underneath them. They don't want you to fight.
Well, I mean, like, it could go both ways, though, Rich. You see how people...
No, they want them to be dhimmis. They want them to pay jizya and be their third-class citizens and be treated like shit, like they did under the Ottoman Turkish Empire, like they did under the Caliph, like they did under fucking all the...
You know what? My question to you is... Wait a second. I'm talking about the 1920s, 1970s.
I don't know what was the British motivation.
Let's find a high IQ person who knows history and let's answer that question.
When's the third one coming?
I never said it was.
Oh my gosh.
Otherwise, I would have given the information, huh?
Bima, let me ask you this. Hold on, Rich. Bima, let me ask you this.
I don't want to do your games. I don't know.
There's a logic to it. Question. So, if Israel was not well armed, what do you think the Arab nations would do?
Last night I watched her naked. Did they just kiss?
Well, I mean, they'd probably have taken him out.
Yeah. And what I think is interesting is that Israel does have arms, and they have well-trained military, and they have very sophisticated weapons. If Israel's desire was to commit a genocide, they could do it.
It's fake.
It's within their grasp to do it. It's just not within the desire of their hearts to do that. They had the means to do it. And this is the thing that I don't think people like yourself are considering, is that if it were the other way around and the Arab nations had the superior military, Jews wouldn't exist. Israel wouldn't exist. Well, the fact
they
that
tried
they
to
had
do it in 67 and 60.
I understand. In any chance they get, with any chance they get, they will take that. This is why, like, Iran can't have a bomb. That question comes up. I hear people say, well, hey, if the U.S. could have a bomb, and China could have a bomb, the UK could have a bomb, why can't Iran have a bomb? The reason why you can't have weapons like this in the hands of evildoers is that there are some people on this planet, whether you want to accept it or not, Bima, that are dedicated to destroying the state of Israel and to killing Jews. And until you wrestle with that fact, you're never going to make any sense in these conversations because you're ignoring the one fundamental difference that separates Israel from their enemies. Is one country genuinely wants to live in peace, and the rest of them don't want that country to exist or their people to exist. I don't understand why you can't.
There's no big sugar. This is the finest supplies, the Royal Jordanian Air Force, and it's
Did she finally fucking leave? Oh,
yeah, she did. Yeah.
Oh. I think that was one that ChatGPT wasn't giving her good enough prompt for. Ken, you missed the lecture. I'm glad Ken said. Ken will agree with me wholeheartedly. The worst thing about this app are people that have high confidence and low information. The people that make up bullshit, the people that will recite lies, and they do so, and they will argue with people that have, information that resemble facts. Right, and they will, despite their lack of education, their lack of knowledge, that high level of confidence, it causes them to disregard their low level of information and to just say whatever the fuck comes out of whatever comes to mind, they're just going to say.
Pope Leo received a crossover welcome at the Vatican's Festival of Catholic Influencers today. He was mobbed by so-called digital missionaries, snapping and streaming on their phones.
Clubhouse up when it comes to that behavior.
The Pope warned them of neglecting
Beam is a
human
perfect example of
relationships as they
it.
chase
Truth was
clicks
a lesser
and
example of it. If you go to Chillism and you see guys like Ike and Concrete, they're a perfect example of it. But we should start spotting this stuff and just say, hey, look, we're trying to have an adult conversation. Clearly, you have a lot of confidence and not a lot of information. And I think we should just tell these people, instead of entertaining ourselves with their stupidity, because that's what we've done last few hours, is just us, laughing at them. I think we should stop that. I think we should try a new tactic, and we should just ignore them.
When I saw the title of the room, I didn't expect it to be this room. I actually expected it would be like a room I'd really dislike. I almost, from the title, I'm surprised I don't know, you're allowed to give me the history. I almost wanted to report the room just for the title, without even going into the room. I figured maybe I should just listen for a second.
Yeah, well, I would say it's probably a good practice to not report room titles, and because you got to get context. This was sarcasm. Bima was in here lecturing Jews about her knowledge of the conflict. She's somebody that claims to be aware that there's more nations at war today than there have been since any time since World War II, but for whatever reason she's obsessed about talking about the conflict with Israel. And when you start trying to ask why, and all of her arguments are just repeated bullshit of anti-Semitic tropes, and we're trying to decipher: does she hate Jews, or does she just so stupid that she's repeating these things? I can't assign intent. I can just say that I can identify very clearly her bullshit. Ken, you would have been so frustrated.
No, but I have no idea who she is. Never even heard of her. So you could just imagine, somebody maybe just scrolling. Maybe they're a new member. I don't know, like near the clubhouse, and you just see a title that says someone lectures Jews. I mean, you just intrinsically know that's anti-Jewish, okay? Intrinsically, okay? And that's why I really don't like that title, okay?
Yeah, well, it was definitely a poke at her and not a poke at Jews. It was.
I get what you're saying, but it's the way that the average person will look at that title as they scroll through the hallway.
Hey Roger, Galaxy said he wants to contribute to the room and edify it.
I never said a motherfucking thing, bitch. Don't be calling out my motherfucking name, bitch.
Not too much on Chinky.
Okay, we're not gonna talk like that, Chi-Chi.
I'm gonna talk however the fuck I want about what your ball had.
Okay. You can talk to yourself.
I knew you to enjoy him.
You see how that works, Chi-Chi?
So Mojo, what's in the month? I mean, I've seen that room or whatever, a house before. I've never actually even gone in it. Is that one of yours or something?
Yeah, in the Muff is a place that many people on Clubhouse desire to be. There's some people on Clubhouse that have never been in the Muff. There's some people that'll never be in the Muff. But this is, I would say it's a cozy, comfortable, perhaps even moist place.
Oh, Roger. He's so desperate to get back on stage because he else.
I'm not bringing that guy back up. Let him go to chillism. Let him go do that.
All right, I'm going back to my Hollywood room now. Thanks.
All right, man. Have fun. Alright, put a 1 in the chat if you want me to bring Chi-Chi up. Put a 2 in the chat if you want me to remove and block. We'll let the people decide, Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi has a weird obsession with Rich.
Oh, God. Alright, well, let's see what Chi-Chi's got to say then. Fuck it. We'll bring Chi-Chi up. I'll say this. I'm just going to give you a warning, Chi-Chi. If you address me at all, good or bad, I'm just going to remove you from the room. So just know that. So now you've had your warning, and if you want to get like 30 seconds of your shit talking in, believe me, I can remove people faster than anybody you've ever seen. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you up. Okay? I'm going to bring you up. Behave yourself. You can talk shit to Rich. You can't talk shit to me. It's not going to happen. Let's see.
I'm glad my phone's about to die. It's in 2%.
From some people in that region to not just destroy Israel.
Yeah, I did too. It says user has already been invited.
You have a fucking reputation. You would want to pretend. You would want to be known as a. So, if you take it back to the basics here, like war, the war industry is a business, and like you make it seem like the you.
You have to click on your name and then accept your life.
I don't think Chi-Chi needs to.
He's brain dead, so we'll probably just better off on it.
Is he a regular in chillism?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he goes up in Canada, he dances around on stage in the LEs and EDM concerts. And he's mentally retarded. He has HIV/AIDS.
Is that true?
Trinidad or
Is he really HIV positive?
No, I just did that because he has like all these sores on his arms that he's like homosexual.
Is he a homosexual?
Yeah, oh yeah, 110%.
What's your body count? Do you know it?
Alright.
My body count? What is that?
Teach their own.
I don't know the German word, but how many guys or girls you had sex with?
Power bottom.
A vigorous person.
30? Yeah, something around that. And do you think it matters? No. Good.
you doing more?
I'm literally standing in the shower about to turn the water.
Everyone will have
How come you didn't speak after this whole conflict?
Amazing. Okay, and then where will the juice go?
Where will the juice go?
It would make Israel something. It can go to home. Go to Jehovah. What a revolution.
I have so much to say. I was like, some of the things you had to say can be echoed in that conversation. People should come out and say, I hate black people, supposed to come out with tropes like they did.
Yeah.
Like, I stay in my lane. Like,
I think that's fair. I think that's fair, and I get quite offended when people talk about my people. So.
Amazing.
You don't like when Hakima talks about black subjects?
No, I don't like it when people talk out of turn about the black community. I'm going to stand up for mine.
Why'd you have to say mines?
Oh, he was saying axe yesterday.
Here come the black racial trope with this whole thing. Don't do a Jewish trope. We're gonna get beat down by the whole state.
You do them all the time. You've done them so many times.
Now you lying. I'm never gonna do a trope.
Kima, what did I do that was wrong?
Like, you just casually lying about being black or the black person.
Wait, hold on. Okay, and Kima, can you listen? If I were to show you what my lineage is, and would you accept the study that I have that shows that I have African lineage?
I mean, according to science, everybody does.
Okay, then why would you deny my lived experience?
I'm not, I'm just saying, that's never, so I'm not going to go that approach.
Do you like my new PTR?
This is funny. I thought something was wrong with my phone, and I didn't realize that was a PTR.
That's hilarious. Sometimes I look at it and I'm just like, where the fuck am I? I think it needs a new background color, though, just to pop more.
Yeah, it does.
Well, you notice how, like, when the anti-Semite leaves, like, the conversation just dies? They sure do like to stir up some shit, don't they?
No, he's been on his good behavior today.
So what is wrong with you, real talk? The other day he told me I lied, I started and I lied. You can't
Or when you get frustrated.
You can't, yeah, I'm always frustrated. But I'm still being a black man in America. But,
nah, it's called getting your ass beat on Clubhouse.
Rich, listen, we're not going to pick on Hakima just because B-Master left. That is not the way it works. We will patiently wait until somebody as stupid as B-Master shows up, and we'll pick on them.
Because Rich wanted to make me an anti-Semite.
Somebody invite Chi-Chi up. I won't let.
I've tried.
Excuse me. I tried.
Can you?
What do you think I could find someone to help us?
Nah, we gotta do a movie room at some point. It'll be a completely different crowd, completely different vibe, but I think we're overdue to have a good movie room. I heard Ken say he was going back to a movie room. There's a lot of interesting people on this app that would join that if we do it. Like there's, I don't know if you know Kim Fields or some of the other people. Hell, we might even get Mallory from Family Ties to join us. She's still on this. No, not fucking, not Tootie from fucking, no. I'm sorry, Dawn Fields is her.
Oh, that's
she
cool.
does. Yeah, Dawn is great. Yeah, she's great. Tell her Mojo said what's up. She'll know me by Roger, by the way.
No, yeah. Wait, do you and Dawn get along?
Yeah, she's great, dude. She's great.
Oh.
I love her.
Yeah, no, I love Dawn.
I'm sure she probably doesn't have the patience for some of the fuckery rooms that I do, but no, we've shared spaces many times. She's, you know what I like about her is that she's truly a heterodox thinker and wants different viewpoints. I used to go in the rooms a lot when the writer's strike was going on, and I was of the opinion of fuck the writers, and man, were there people, the actors and the writers were so upset, and all I would say to them is like, hey, look, man, if fucking AI can take over your fucking field, you're just not very good at what you do. And I fucking mean that. Like, I think that some of the arguments that they make, it's not that I begrudge them for making a good living, but like, the problem with that writers should really focus on is writing better material, and then figuring out a way to cut through the there's a lot of marketing costs that it takes to make a film these days, but they need to figure out how to get the investment and get their projects off the ground. Not crying about like they need more money. You'd have plenty of money if you wrote better. So anyways, people would come off like crazy at me, as you can imagine, and Don would just say, hey, it's a valid opinion.
This iPhone is frozen. I can't mute. I can't unmute. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, Dawn is cool, people. I was about to make a point to something you said about the writers, but now I just forgot because my phone wouldn't unmute. Let me think about it.
This room is dying. We're not entertaining people that hate Jews. I guess maybe what we'll do is close this room. We'll regroup later. We'll bring a whole new group of anti-Semites onto the stage, and we'll rinse and we'll repeat. Oh, BB raised his hand. BB wants to come up. Let's see what BB is. What's up?
Only because I sent you some backgrounds, bro. In your message, in DMs.
Len who? That's dope. Thank you. Appreciate that. I will utilize. That's awesome. Yeah, it'll stand out better. Right now, I just look like a sloppy chocolate cake.
I have a question though, but I don't want to get smashed.
No.
No, it's about these anti-Semites and about these Jew-hating rooms. Is there a complete, disconnect with reality? Because if you sit in these rooms, like Amir's room, for instance, you have people that they've never been to the region, they don't know they thought the Gaza Strip was a state last year, they have no clue, but they have such conviction and passion and hatred towards Jews in Israel. I'm wondering if it's kind of like, I know the answer, but I wonder what everybody else thinks. Is there a sickness and it's also contagious?
Who's your beautiful bestie?
I think it comes down to their politics. That's the best thing I can think of, because now the Amirs of the world, I think, genuinely, truly hate Jews. But I do think that there's people, even Jews on this app, that have allowed their political leanings. So if you have people that are left of center that don't like what Israel's doing right now, and they're for political reasons, right? Maybe because they fancy themselves lockstep with policies of people in the squad. They allow the American contingent, and again, this includes Jews. They will put front and center and prioritize their political leanings over what's happening in Israel, what they know to be true about the threats that Jews face, because they would fall out of favor with their lefty friends, and like that's what's really important to them. It appears pretty clear to me that the most important virtue that they have is to be in good standing with fellow lefties, and even if that means selling out their own people.
I agree with you, 1,000%. It's funny because yesterday, I'm pretty sure you guys all heard about the mass shooting or the shooting that happened in New York. And if you Googled it, it showed like I went to images, and one of the persons that was apprehended, there was a male and a female, and then I guess they unalived the shooter. But two of the people that were arrested, one of the guys had a shirt and it said